All right, guys. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good Friday morning. Sorry we're running a little late. Everybody knows that Jay's been kind of under the weather, so we're trying to see if we could get into a doctor. But, you know, being in the States, you can't if you don't have insurance. It's not happening. So, anyway, that's why I'm late. Let's go ahead and we'll get into this because they started off, it looks like, with Indy. And this is right where it starts, the event. Morning, how are you, Moore? Welcome, Becca. Welcome, Simlish Commander.
It's day 3 of our live coverage of Xbox Gamescom 2024, and there's so many games to talk about, Charlie, so let's dive
Morning.
Let's get stuck in. We have games on games on games on games, including Metaphor Refantasio, the newest game from the minds behind Persona 3, 4, and 5. We're going to catch up with the team crafting the game and some of the iconic voices who bring it to life.
And then after that, we're going to be discovering what it takes to survive a plague of corrupting souls with Avowed.
Yeah, I was going to say, they got Avowed and Indiana Jones. Did it go through Indiana Jones? It says rating pending. Or is that just for the whole show? Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. All right. That's a good face to get frozen on. All right, let's see here. Okay, so there's Indy.
Welcome Machine Games Design Director Jens R. Anderson and Creative Director Axel Torvenius. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello, we're fine. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here with you and talking about Indie. Shall we dive into it?
Please.
First question I want to ask you guys. Obviously, this film franchise is incredibly iconic. And how did the game come about for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit surreal, right? We've been pinching ourselves throughout production. Is this happening? But it is, I promise. And so it all starts with, Todd Howard had been this, long-term vision and dream and ambition to do a new, interesting Indiana Jones game. He had the opportunity to pitch his core idea from a narrative point of view to Lucasfilm Games. They were also very excited about it. Then Todd took the project to Machine Games, checking in, I think you're a good fit as a studio to do this, and you can imagine the screams of joy within the halls of Machine Games as we were given the opportunity to work on it. So we are super thrilled.
Super thrilled indeed. I mean, thinking about how big it is and how excited you guys are, the thrill of that must be quite a feat to work with and develop as well. So how is the game prioritizing all of Indiana Jones's adventure from the films into the game?
It's really about putting you into the shoes of Indiana Jones, like allowing you to play out this fantasy. What would you do as Indiana Jones? And with that obviously comes the iconic whip, being able to solve mysteries, escape traps, and doing all these things that we know and love from
Matthew,
this iconic hero.
Hokey, what's up?
I mean, I probably wouldn't choose the right chalice, but hopefully everything else in the game I'll have correct. It'll be fine. Speaking about the game then, let's talk about what the combat and maybe exploration will look like in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Let's see if they tell us anything new.
It all comes back to the character, what could you do? So combat, compared to, we come from a background of working on Wolfenstein for a really long game, like big double-wielding shotguns. This game is not that. This is much more adventure-focused game. So that means exploring more open-ended environments, having proper puzzles into the game that's challenging for the player to solve without you getting stuck, being able to scale the environment using your whip, but also, the combat. Like Indy is known for his knuckle-busting, brawler-style combat, so punching enemies in the face or even picking up a banjo and smashing them over the head. It's all about trying to recreate that really almost comedic matinee-style adventure.
Indiana Jones looks fantastic.
At the end of the day, he is an archaeologist.
I think it's going to be
not quite
one of the best movie-based video games ever made.
Around him. Can't wait to get into that. Speaking of utilizing the environment, can we talk about the puzzles that we'll see in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle as well?
Absolutely. This is one of the kind of new type of features that we haven't done so much about with before at Machine Games. So that was a really interesting challenge. And as I mentioned, we want to make real puzzles. We want you to be this kind of professor, archaeologist. So there's a lot of games, big games out there that kind of dumb down the puzzles for the sake of just making sure the player gets the full experience. We have tried really hard to just make them exciting to explore and build all these systems, like we have the camera and the journal to help you through the puzzle. You get to investigate and discover, and if you still do get stuck, you have the camera, you can pick it up, you can snap a photo of the puzzle, and Indy will provide a little clue what you need to do. You can take another one if you get deeper, so you don't have to go off to YouTube to see the solution.
Nice.
It's also extremely important to try to hit the sweet spot of making sure that we have these complicated puzzles from a game mechanic point of view, but we also need to make sure that they feel like they fit within the environment. Like it's an actual part of this ancient temple that you have discovered, but there's a contextual sense to it. So there's many different components.
That is Indiana Jones.
We feel that we are in a very, very good sweet spot at the moment where it sits.
I believe in you too. I can't wait to see them. Speaking about ancient temples and things, obviously we see a whole bunch of iconic and interesting locations that Indy gets to travel to across the films too. Whereabouts in the game will us players get to explore and discover?
Yeah, so we have just the base narrative and the core story is already, it makes sure that we put the player on a global adventure. We get to visit a lot of different locations. The reasoning behind some of these locations is a twofold reason. One is, of course, that it fits the narrative, the story that we want to tell. The other one is also to make sure that we introduce new, interesting, exciting environments throughout the full campaign. So you will get this dynamic pacing of, wow, a jungle, a desert, mountains, So we're really trying to make sure that that balance and that contrast feels exciting and thrilling at all times.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, a lot of us, I'm sure, me especially, I'm very excited to get my hands on that whip and take that out for a spin. Is there anything you want to share just now about whip wielding and how that can be used within the game too?
It's such an important feature. Like it's iconic for the character. So from day one, it's been incredibly important to get right, and we've had super talented engineers and animators working really hard to get the feeling of it feeling right. Like there's a mix of simulation, physical simulation in there. There's a mix of animation that takes over that allows you to do all these things that we want to do. You can attach it to things in the environment, pull them, use it to scale walls. It's also a combat tool, so really being able to use primarily as an entry point to combat is a very good use of the whip. You can use it to disarm someone, so you can turn around and then use it to pull an enemy into what we call clinch, so you can punch them. It's a very versatile tool, and getting that to feel right has taken a lot of work. We have the audio part of it. We actually,
I was going to say, can you imagine all those takes with the whip?
Part of Indiana Jones' character. So the amount of work from broad spectrum within the team that's been working on it and working hard to make sure that it is where it is today, it's been not an easy task.
We even brought in experts, like we went to visit the Swedish bullwhip champion to...
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, our audio team went there and rigged mics and everything so we could get the sound just right and see how it's actually being used.
Oh, gosh, that must have been quite the day. I love that. Can't wait for that part, personally. So let's talk about what it was like working with Lucasfilm. Obviously, absolutely synonymous with Indiana Jones and a lot of amazing IPs. What can fans expect in terms of authenticity in your game?
A lot. So speaking to the point of working together alongside with Lucasfilm Games has been extremely valuable and appreciated. We have been on a constant iterative basis with them, basically a weekly turn. We've been in contact with them. They are the experts of the IP, they are the experts of the franchise. So seeking their guidance sometimes and making sure that we are on the right path has been invaluable and, you know, a really good experience. And speaking to what fans can expect, you know, there are two sides to that. For people that are fans of the franchise and fans of Indiana Jones, this is absolutely your fix. This is your Indiana Jones fix, right? But when it comes to, and it's a, you know, might sound weird, there are people out there that do not know who Indiana Jones is. We are capturing them also, because at the heart and at the core of Indiana Jones and the franchise is a fantastic world of deep narrative and a great adventure. So there is something for everyone in there.
Amazing. I can't wait. That sounds so good. Well, guys, I would love to know if there are any parts of the film that you also emulate in the game, or if you could maybe share us a little bit of Easter eggs if you have any.
Well, it wouldn't be a proper Easter egg if we spoiled it ahead of launch, so you have to play it for yourself. But as Axel said, there's a wealth of indie trivia and you know, lots of really cool things to discover in the game. So
if you know type thing.
You will not be disappointed if you're into that.
Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Finally, last question. When can we get our hands on Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
December 9th.
Okay, Christmas wish list sorted then. Very good and very nice. Jens, Axel, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Gamescom. It's been such a pleasure chatting all things indie. I shall don my hat now as well. I think that's only right. And remember, you can pre-order your copy of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle ready for December 9th. Excitement has been building for this next RPG.
I can't believe they didn't
it was
show like
back in
their
2016.
they have like
now,
this big pack that you
of
can
some
order.
of the minds behind the Persona series is nearly ready to launch. Enjoy this look at Metaphor Re-Fantasio.
Anyway,
only the one who has earned the people's support is fit to be king.
yeah, Becca, you can definitely download it early. It doesn't like grant you early access or anything, but basically you don't have to wait for it to download. Like it might have a small update or something, but that would be it, so you can play it faster.
If you get rid of the culprit, I will appeal to the people of this town to
say,
support you.
Yeah, Jay is having a hard time, so I have not been sleeping very much, and
more public support,
all sorts of fun things. Let's see here. Looks amazing. It does look good.
Well,
I can't wait for it to come out.
Threatening danger on the way.
That thing was weird looking.
Can you smell it? There's change in the air.
Carl, subscribe with Prime. Welcome, Carl.
Looks like we
Sinja did something too. I don't know what that is.
And Count Luis hot on his trail.
You dreamt of utopia. You saw the tribes united as one.
There are a lot of people in the crowd who have never supported you. How are you going to respond to them?
So that is like a Persona type game then.
Gamescom にご来場の皆さん、こんにちは。メタファーリファンタジオディレクターの橋野桂です。本日はご参加いただきありがとうございます。ただいま2024年10月11日の世界同時リリースに向けて最終調整に挑んでおり、現地へ行くことができずとても残念です。今日は私からこれまで皆さんからいただいている応援コメントや感想とともに 本作の魅力をいくつかご紹介させていただきます。まずは皆様にご注目いただいている本作のあらすじについてです。メタファーは本作の舞台であるユークロニア王国の王が殺されるところから物語が始まります。この世界では王族や権威のある人物が王になることが主流でしたが、突如国民から最も人気を得た人物が次の王になることができるという王選挙魔法が発動され、物語が大きく進んでいきます。現代風に言えば選挙のようなものでしょうか。主人公は王を目指し旅をします。いろいろな場所に赴き、さまざまな人々と出会い成長を重ねます。もちろん主人公以外にもさまざまな種族の人物が立候補します。一番人気になれば誰でも王になれるわけですから、とんでもない公約を掲げる人も出てきますし、ユニークな戦いや騒動が繰り広げられることになります。選挙をめぐる物語をぜひゲームの中で体験してみてください。次にユーザーの皆様からは、主人公が王を目指す道中で楽しめる旅体験への高い関心を寄せていただいています。今作はさまざまな経験や出会いが主人公の王の資質を成長させます。どんな行動も無駄にはならず、主人公の成長につながる、これは非常に重要なポイントです。凱旋車での移動の最中、仲間とチェスのようなゲームを楽しむこんな何気ない仲間との交流からも、主人公は王に一歩近づくことになります。また舞台であるユークロニア王国のさまざまなロケーションにも多くのご注目をいただいています。旅の道中で訪れる街や雄大な自然では多彩なアクティビティを体験することができます。モンスター退治のサブクエストはもちろん、ある街ではクリフダイビングを楽しむことも可能です。メインストーリーを進めると後から開放されるアクティビティもありますので、プレイヤーの皆さんはぜひいろいろな場所を巡っていただけると嬉しいです。それらゲームの中での選択一つ一つが仲間たちとの絆を育み、主人公の成長につながります。どのような日々を過ごすのかはプレイヤーの皆さん次第です。さまざまな楽しみ方ができるようこだわって作っていますので、ぜひ楽しみにお待ちいただけると幸いです。そして予約購入をしていただくと冒険をより楽しむための豪華な特典がゲットできますので、ぜひ事前予約をしてください。最後に本作の特徴を一つお話しします。メタファーでは会話中プレイヤーが選んだ選択肢を主人公がボイス付きで喋ります。
Happy Friday, how are you?
これは私がこれまでに作ってきたペルソナ5などの作品よりもさらに主人公に個性を与えたかったためです。
How are you doing?
プレイしていくうちに親近感と愛着が増していただけるようこだわって作りました。ぜひ新たな主人公を愛していただけると大変嬉しく思います。それでは Xbox チームにお戻しします。ありがとうございました。
Or was that yesterday's? I can't hardly tell. Either way,
we just
thank
heard
you.
from the developers. Now let's meet some of the voices of Metaphor,
I have an X and a PC, no PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 5, but I don't stream or anything
Thanks
on it.
so much for joining us here at Gamescom. How are you finding it so far?
Look at that nice top.
It's been overwhelming in the best possible way. Like I've never been to an event like this, which it's like gaming theme park.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
a gaming theme park.
Every area is themed. I'm looking at the World of Warcraft section now, and it's just like, it looks like this themed attraction. People are queuing. They've got incredible rides. There's games. Like,
they got incredible
I just want to go out and
rides.
explore. Like, as soon
Oh,
as
it does have a ride over there at World of Warcraft. I
Cool
forgot. They showed it the other day.
I mean, you
Warp,
walk in
what's
for the
up?
first time, and it's just, you almost want to just stand and take it in. It's just a spectacle.
I want to steal that from
and
her.
people walking around in costumes, you know, I want to stop every single person and go, you look incredible. Wait, you look incredible. It's such a wonderful atmosphere.
Xbox.
We're having such a brilliant time.
Yeah, it's one of the best
I have an
things, wandering
Xbox
around
and
the
a
booth,
PC.
seeing all the games. But
Yeah.
let's talk about your game, because both of you play some incredible characters.
Yeah, me too.
Right, in the game.
That's why I was like so
Stuart,
frustrated
do you
the
want to
other
start off with
day.
who you're playing and tell us about your character?
I can totally start. Yeah.
I think
okay,
you were
so
streaming or something, but like I was
play
losing
Leon
my
Strong.
mind. Sitting in here because like a couple
who
seen Fallout
is-
76 and
he's
then like
your first ally.
a video would
He
pop
is
up
your-
of Fallout
your-
76 and I'd be
your
like, this
brother
is
in
just like the
arms,
worst.
Your ride or die. Your main man. Your
Yes.
special
That's what I
dude.
have.
I'm running out of ways to describe it, but he is like your first and foremost. Runs in very early. He is like a country
What
noble.
the heck?
Who
Look at that
basically
thing.
he's a man of the people. He's got this idealized version of what a noble should be, how a noble should act. How they should interact with the world, and it's an idealism that isn't always matched by the world that he exists within, and he he butts up against that a lot. And I think it's so refreshing for him to find the protagonist and for them to share this kind of forged in fire experience early on, where they find that their ideals align and their motivations align, and he is able to join him as that first ally. Like
Twitch links now on YouTube.
His mouth gets ahead of him sometimes.
Yeah.
He's forthright. He will if he doesn't like you, he'll tell you. And if there's a grudge, he's going to keep that grudge. But if you're on the right side of him, he is your best friend.
It sounds like everyone needs a stroll in their life.
I think so.
Everybody does need that type of person in
Kristen,
their
what about
life.
your character?
Well, if you need a stroll, you certainly need a Hulkenberg. Iceland Hulkenberg is
From the
she was a
States.
knight
Oh,
originally, and she was the bodyguard of the royal family.
What do you
the
want me to
prince.
put the Twitch
And,
link like in
she
the
sort of carries this
YouTube description?
extraordinary sense of honor and of her sort of her duty to the royal family. And when we meet her, she has this enormous wound because she was not able to protect the royal family in their hour of need. And so when we meet her, you get a feeling of she needs to redeem herself. You know, she needs to prove that she is the great knight, the great warrior, and she has your back. She is
it looks really cool.
front and center. You want Hulkenberg to be fighting your corner. She takes herself very, very seriously. She's maybe not the person you want to play a practical joke on, because she will not get it. However, you do want to go
September,
to a bar
welcome.
with her and eat some weird food, because she likes her
Morocco?
weird food.
What
awesome.
kind of weird food are we talking about?
I mean, I don't want to drop any spoilers, but basically...
Huge spoilers. Huge spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Hulkenberg's cuisine.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin her maybe one joke of the entire game, but yeah, she will eat what pretty much no one else will eat.
That is fair enough. It's pretty much me at Gamescom. I was just going there going like, oh, what have we got? Like going around the town.
Yeah.
But one of the hardest things I find when with any prep for building these characters is, what are you given beforehand? Are you shown like images? Are you kind of given extra details so that when you're going to build this character, what's the approach for you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. Honestly, Benny, it can vary massively from project to project in terms of where you are in the recording process when the game's being developed.
I really can't wait for Avowed.
Further along.
That's supposed to be this morning too.
There's
So
so
we
many
got
assets.
Indiana Jones
you can see
and
full
Avowed.
cutscenes. You're getting a full rendition of the world, or it can go completely the other way, and you're basically performing to an Excel spreadsheet, and everything is having to be conjured by your brain. I think with this one, it was sort of an in-betweeny stage where when we started the project, there was very little. There was like nothing to go on. I remember Scott, the localization director, was sort of describing these things, describing humans, human monsters, and I was like, okay, yeah, right, I get it. Do you get that? Yeah, yes, Stu, yeah, I get it. I didn't really get it. But then the assets start coming in, and you start seeing these animatics, these cutscenes. There we go, there's one. And you start to see the scale. You start to understand.
That's what I was just saying,
like,
September.
Oh, wow,
just
this is
Indiana
not
Jones and Avowed are the two that I know
pictured. These are not traditional monsters.
They
this
do
is
stuff
not a
in between
traditional
them.
fantasy world. It's when the assets did start coming in, and especially when we started dubbing cutscenes and stuff like that, then I started to go, oh, this is different. This is like a different experience, fantasy-wise, to anything that I've done before.
A lot of the monsters, they're almost like Hieronymus Bosch kind of, creations. They look sort of beautiful and terrifying at the same time,
oh my God.
I don't know about you, when I auditioned for Hulkenberg, I was given, this is what she looks like, and a lot of kind of descriptive, kind of characteristics. And very quickly, I look at that and go, well, I look nothing like that. So you have to really imagine, you have to pretend every time you're in the booth. One of my directions was, you've got a six-pack on, your armor is a six-pack. And, I'm a sweet little English rose, so stuff like that helps me massively.
No, it must be a lot of fun though getting into those roles, because they're like, as you said, such different characters to what you've done in the past.
So these are the voice actors. Let's see here. What else we got?
Less.
I was going to say they're not going to be able to give us any insights into the actual game. Okay, so what's this?
And causing mayhem in pursuit of golden acorns. And I'm so excited to share.
Oh, it's that squirrel game. Oh my God.
Acorns for ammunition.
Like, this game looks so
Welcome
stupid.
to the wild world.
But looks hilarious.
With a gun.
My name is Dan D'Entremont,
Look at this.
game director for Squirrel with a Gun, the game where you play as the neighborhood's most obnoxious rodent, committing crimes and causing mayhem in pursuit of golden acorns.
Look at him carrying
and
a
I'm so
shotgun.
excited to share a bit about what makes this nutty sandbox shooter and puzzle platformer so special. The core of Squirrel with a Gun is in its nutty sandbox gameplay. We had to make sure the gameplay was as crazy as the concept. You play as an unhinged animal as it wreaks havoc on the world around you as you explore and complete hidden objectives. You can be a nice squirrel and ask for snacks and pose for photos. You might get some rewards for wholesome interactions, like helping a bride find her missing groom, shooting some hoops, going on a little water adventure, and heading to the skate park to show off some tricks. But you can also choose to be a nuisance, pestering the community, like running them over with your little RC car, giving someone a shave, riding the drone, doing a showdown with Wild Will, the cowboy.
Oh my god.
There are so many different ways you can interact with people in this game, and a lot of hidden side quests to complete with the NPCs in exchange for the highly desirable golden acorns. Regular acorns and the rare golden acorns are used as currency to unlock new weapons or other interactable items, like your RC car. This game also has a lot of clever puzzle platforming. Not only do you jump and climb around like a normal squirrel would, but because this squirrel is often equipped for combat, you can use a gun's recoil to boost its jumps. This feature is utilized in various ways based on which gun you are holding, and sometimes you need a specific weapon to help you navigate a puzzle. For example, you wouldn't be able to get the acorn on top of this roof without a shotgun to blast you up there. We had a lot of fun making each puzzle super unique. There's a minefield that you have to sneak through to get the rewards on the other side. The neighborhood itself has all sorts of backyard puzzles, like getting some air with bouncy umbrellas, or getting low in the crawlspace maze. Some of them can get a little crazy. You can take to the sky on a bouncy castle, and head underwater to get some rewards. Let's take a quick pause in the gameplay to show off some cosmetics we've been working on to style up our squirrel.
Secret squirrel.
My favorite outfit is the diving suit because it lets you explore a hidden underwater cave that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. A few of the cosmetics even have tactical effects.
Look at that.
Wearing a bomb suit will reduce explosive damage, and the sparkler hat can light propane tanks.
I have no idea why I love
and
stuff
of
like
course,
this. I just
you can't
love
have
it.
a squirrel with a gun.
Cozy, welcome.
There's 7 different weapons to unlock in the game, each with its own unique takedown and jump boost. You can learn more about them by watching our previous
You're
Marcel
okay, Carl.
trailer.
Thank you.
Each one is a blast. I hope you learned a little something about how
I was
squirrels
gonna say, I'm
can
looking
wield
forward to
weapons
everything in
and
Fallout
cause
76.
chaos. And I can't wait for all of you to get your paws on this passion project of ours.
October 15th. Series X. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what is this? Origins of a Boss? What is this?
Bosses in Path of Exile 2 come about 2 major ways. You obviously have the more traditional approach where you create a narrative and you design a boss around that narrative.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself!
How did I know that it's going to be like this top-down bull crap again?
The second way, which I think is something that can be very unique and create some of the more interesting encounters, is letting the creative genius of our artists do what they need to do. They can come up with something completely abstract.
Me too.
And this is how you get some of the most awesome things, because all of a sudden it can be something with 100 tentacles or 9 limbs or no limbs or 1,000 teeth or none, and obviously things that aren't even in my imagination.
That's gross. Designing a boss.
Well, a boss in Path of Exile 2 ultimately is the culmination of decades of experience, making hundreds, if not thousands, of bosses in its predecessor, taking all that knowledge together, and puts it in a package that delivers the best of what could possibly be of boss encounters in an action RPG environment with bosses that are utilizing Souls-like mechanics.
It looks like Diablo, but I don't think it's Diablo. And they just said Souls mechanics. I think that they're trying to be Diablo
Despite the
and
fact
Souls
there's over
together,
100
'cause this
bosses
isn't.
and more to come, a lot more to come. Every single boss fight is completely unique, hand animated from scratch.
I love
It
how
is
he's got
designed
nothing
from
but
scratch. It
freaking
is
Finding Nemo
balanced from
underneath of his
scratch,
desk there.
and it doesn't reuse a single
Welcome,
asset in
David.
our library or anything like that.
Avowed, and they just did Indiana Jones. Balancing boss fights.
One of the main challenges balancing boss fights in Path of Exile 2, especially compared to its predecessor, you have to, in a single attempt, reduce the boss from full life to 0 in order to then progress through.
The Devourer.
If a player cannot defeat them now, then they're stuck. It is very, very important to us that Path of Exile bosses, mechanics, especially around telegraphing, feels fair to the user, as opposed to them being cheated out of something when they happen to die. We want to make sure that hitboxes are accurate, and of course, when something hits you, it feels like it hits you. It ultimately makes it feel that much more satisfying when you kill it, and you feel that much more pride when you are able to overcome something difficult, knowing that the game hasn't robbed you of this thing. At the end of the day, you want to see that healthy balance where some people are struggling, and you want to see that moment, that second-hand moment where someone overcomes that challenge and is so happy for doing so. And so I'm looking forward to that.
Still have no idea what this game is. I feel like they probably should have started with that. Path to Exile. Alright, let's get past some of the talking. Talky.
Scene piece about the inspiration behind this epic title.
大家好，我是灵者科技的创始人之一，也是明末冤虚之语的制
Alright, let's see here.
人物。我们在这片土地上生活和工作，
Trying to see what game it even is.
契合的。我们希望把在这种美术的基调之上，我们就可以通过更多的非线性的关卡设计，或者说是包括一些垂直的关卡设计，去增强冲击力，然后去做更多的场景叙事，营造一种故事感，让玩家能够在体验游戏的时候沉浸其中，或者说是让玩家在游戏中每走的一步路都能够感觉到这个世界是活着的。当然
Alright, let's see here.
为接下来的旅程制造了大量的悬念和铺垫，我们相信这会勾起玩家的。
Alright. Yeah. I was gonna say we're gonna be catching up real soon here, it looks like. Hold on. There's whatever it is that they're talking about. Fallen Feathers.
It was one of our favorite titles when it was announced last year, and now it continues to make headlines in the run-up to release. Here with what fans can expect from 33 Immortals, we have Thunder Lotus producer Nicolas Godin. Bienvenue à la Gamescom.
Ah, merci.
Ça va?
Ça va très bien. Thank you very much. Gamescom is awesome. Your booth is awesome. It's very impressive.
And you actually were here last year with 33 Immortals on our Gamescom stage.
Yes.
But yeah, it's been a year, it's been a minute. Could you give us a refresher on the ABCs?
I'll give you a little recap. So 33 Models is a co-op action roguelike game where you join the fight with 33 players with you, and then the goal is to fight masses of monsters and epic bosses, and all that in a raid, pick up and raid. It's how we call it, the pick up and raid vibe, where we want to give this raid accessible take for players, low key, low effort. You just join in and you fight all together.
And Phil Spencer is a fan. We know that.
We are very happy to mention that Phil was our first community member since he played last year. But to be fair, he was really nice with us. He played with us. He was very. He's our fan. We love him, and it was a good moment with him last year.
And you got community testing now under your belt as well. So could you tell us more about the reactions?
Yes, it was interesting. Throughout the whole year, we had a closed alpha and a closed beta. For the closed beta, we were very surprised. We had around 47,000 players. We weren't expecting this at all, but we are very grateful and happy to have all these players joining in. And it was nice because we also had a survey in it, and we asked them, would you recommend that game? You know, this classic, would you recommend it? And we were very happy to hear that 94% of them would recommend it. So for us, it was clearly a big success.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And those community testings can be very revealing. So what did you learn about that for your game, and how does your team evolve things before release?
Yeah, indeed, we learned a lot. First of all, we confirmed that our core game mechanic is working very well. The fact of playing with 32 players as a big group in the world, in boss fight, it was a good success. People appreciated all the co-op mechanics. The boss fight, again, they were very appreciated. And also, it's something very TLG-like. It's that we know we have gorgeous art, like gorgeous animation, gorgeous art everywhere. It's really I'll say our tagline when you talk about Thunder Lotus, and we respect that and people appreciate that. It was very good. On the other end, we also had tons of feedback, and that was good because we needed feedback, obviously. And we know that we have to still work on the combat. The combat is such a big thing in our game. We want to make it more snappy. We're also going to work on some tutorials at the beginning to make it more clear for players. We want to work also again on some communication features we have in game. We'll pimp them up to make sure that people have all the tools to communicate with each other very easily. And the last of it is also
I don't know. I'd like to see some Doom, but I haven't heard anything about Doom.
We want to make sure that every player will be able to jump in and enjoy the game with the right difficulty level. Right now, it was a bit too difficult.
But so yes, and especially raids can be very difficult. They can be very demanding, sometimes elite. And do you have a different approach on that in the game?
But you said it exactly. Raids in games, people will have the conception that you really have to dedicate yourself. You have to take time. You have to grind and make your character more powerful. Have a group that will show up at the same time. We want to take another vibe at this. We want to make sure that people can just open the console, go in our Darkwoods hub, equip a weapon, equip beautiful capes and ornaments because that's important, and then just jump in. At the second you're in the world, you are with 32 other players and you play together. This is really our take on the pick up and raid, and we wanted to make sure that the game will be easy to access, but yet still be challenging. And this is our biggest challenge, I would say, because it's easy to make just a game that is very easy, but it still has to be fun, challenging to the player. So this is really our focus in the past few months, where we want to make sure that our game will be perfectly balanced for this, yet
Thanks for
very
coming
accessible.
by, man.
I love that. Accessibility is so important. But I remember you talked about the tutorials. Did anybody beat the tutorials, actually?
It's a funny moment. So we know that at our tutorials, we have this kind of torture chamber where you have to die. We want you to die to just stop this and go to the it's like you can keep going, but someone was able to just survive the whole thing, and it was very impressive to see this. Some people are very dedicated, and props to these players because we love them a lot, but he did manage to die at some point, I guess, otherwise he wouldn't keep going in the game, but that's it. We have very dedicated players for this, and he made it.
I love that story. So he made the impossible possible.
Every players will always show us that everything is possible.
But you also got something new coming up, a new realm.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Thank you.
So in the closed beta, we introduced a new world, which is about Purgatorio. So right now, just as a little reminder, when you join the game, you start in Inferno. This is where you'll play with 32 players. And then when you join Purgatorio, it's a smaller zone, so it's 22 players, and it's going to be it's going to be way much more rough. It's more challenging and demanding. In terms of the area, it looks very different. There's a lot of ashes everywhere. It's clearly another mood. A lot of monastery and abandoned places everywhere. But the biggest thing about Purgatorio is the fact that the monsters are all different. And then we have a roster of monsters with variation. In Purgatorio, we have a whole different monster roster. And what's cool with them is that we introduce more co-op mechanic between them. So we have monsters that are able to eat each other. So they can be a pain sometimes in some fights. They have some that can slow players down. They have some that can make other monsters invulnerable for a short time. So we wanted to challenge the player differently to make sure that they will use all the roles of the different weapons in an efficient way and just challenge them in a different way with the other world.
So a lot of diversity, a lot to explore and watch out for, definitely.
Yes, exact. And by the way, please know that they are support, but they will still hurt you because yes, it's about dying again.
I see what the whole thing is about your game.
We're very sorry.
You're like, they're just like, we just want you to die.
We talked about the beta moments ago.
All right, let's see here. See if we can fast forward a little bit. They're interviewing people, I guess, asking questions. All right.
The show has in store for us.
Excuse me. All right, so now we're caught up. We can't fast forward anymore. Everything is top down. That is a weird sounding thing. Storming. Stop in the dark once. Worth it for that alone. Anybody find it weird that there's like an eyeball and a hand on the screen? That noise is weird. Good God. Used to execute all. I thought it was the whole green area. Apparently not. Okay. So you gotta like weird. It's almost like you're setting up chess moves and then like you execute it all. Events unfold in the new one. It's a prequel. I was gonna say, the mechanics on that just look so good, like so satisfying. I'm not sure if it's turn-based or not, man.
And that was Commando's
a lot of this, they don't
origin.
tell you
Pretty good,
anything
didn't it?
about them.
Now to Warhammer 40k Space Marine. Henry,
They
did
tell
you
you
know
everything
it was released
except for
back
the things
in
you wanna know, which doesn't make any sense.
2011? Now, 13 years later, Space Marine 2 is nearly
Space
ready
Marines.
to make landfall. Here with more, please welcome Saber Interactive's Chief Creative Officer. It's Tim Willits. How you doing, Tim?
Thank you for having me.
Are you having a good Gamescom so far?
This has been a great Gamescom, and the reception on the game has been great.
Amazing, wonderful. We got some questions for you. You got the first one, didn't you, love?
Yeah, I'd like to know, because this is a follow-up to the game that released back then, and knowing that there's quite a following to the Space Marine universe. I mean, the game itself, the IP that the franchise is based on, has been ongoing for many years. Yeah. What's it like working with a team like Games Workshop to bring something like that to life?
Nice.
Yes, it's been a great honor for us to work with Games Workshop and to also work on the in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. You know, this universe was created 45 years ago. and the influence that it has had on video games that we've played for decades. I don't think many people realize. Working with Games Workshop, we worked hand in hand on the story, the setup, the Space Marine chapters, even like the enemies that you fight. So it was a great collaborative effort.
Yeah, no, I can totally imagine. And because of that, with 45 years, you say, of history, I imagine there's quite a challenge when it comes to making a sequel to a popular game for core fans who've been with you the whole time, but even trying to entice new folks who, like myself, I haven't played the first Space Marine game. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about what does this mean for those who have played for ages or maybe uninitiated to 40K?
Yes, that's a great question. It was definitely a challenge to create a game that both respected the franchise, respected the fans, but also was approachable enough for people to play it. Now, I know you said you haven't played Space Marine 1.
Please don't hurt me, Tim. I'll get round to it.
That is totally fine. Yes.
That looks straight up like Gears.
Don't
it looks
worry
really good.
that, if you haven't played the franchise, jump into Space Marine 2. If you're just a fan of over-the-top, in-your-face action games, this is the game.
That sounds like a bit of us.
Right, that's good. But for the fans that have been there all along the way, they played the originals, how have they helped, your community basically in focusing your development team to make sure the sequel is just right for them too?
Yes. The community, the Warhammer 40,000 community is intense. It's millions strong, and
they love it, right?
They love it.
Passionate amount of love, yeah.
Yes, and so working with Games Workshop, they have their community team, they have their expert writers, and we have talked to the community. We made sure that we are delivering the game and the experience that really is true to the franchise, and to really make you a true Space Marine, that power fantasy of being the most badass soldier in the universe.
I mean, have you seen the sort of stuff they're up against? It's crazy, right?
I was going to say, looking at it, that's going to be my next question.
That looks like a lot of fun.
How is this love and this influence reflected in the action and the pace of the game that we're looking at here?
It looks very, just the shooting aspect of it looks very satisfying.
Yes. The key to Space Marine 2 is both the complex melee system and the range combat. One of the things that you will see is, Titus has used everything in his arsenal, from blocks to hits to dodges to grabs to glory kills.
Nice.
It's really a very visceral, intense, and in your face.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks so good. So, do all of them have different that up close melee ability that you just saw as well?
It looks really good, but the thing is, I had
yes. So one of the great things about the game is we have a campaign where you play as Titus, and he has two squad mates whom the computer can play them, or your buddies can play with you.
Oh, fun, okay.
Yes, and then we have a PvE campaign where you can play as your own Space Marine. And you can customize your Space Marine, you can be the chapter that you want, you can upgrade.
That's great.
And then that also leads to PvP.
That's beautiful.
So you can go head-to-head with other humans playing as Space Marines.
Oh, that sounds good.
Absolutely.
That's a bit of us. I like that. And here's the range stuff that we're seeing here now,
This is the thing, the action is very intense, and at times the number of enemies can get quite overwhelming as well. It's not just about the fact that you're dealing with someone far away, maybe someone up close, because I can deal with one dude.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
He's fine with that.
Tell me about the sort of technology you've had to develop to allow for there to be so much going on screen at once.
Yes, so the key critical component of this experience.
That was sick.
Yes, that is an awesome glory kill.
Yeah. Quickly go. Nice job, Tim. Like that, Tim.
Yes. So the Swarm engine. The Swarm engine was developed by Saber Interactive in World War Z, and that has been developed, and now we're in Swarm Engine 2, where we can bring massive amounts of Tyranids, never seen before, and they just come at you and they break apart. And every one of those Tyranids, based on our new AI director, starts thinking, and they're thinking about killing you. And it is an over-the-top war, like epic, like never seen before, epic war, where you are the main fighter.
And is this just going around in the skybox? Because I don't know about you, Henry, but the idea of loads of Tyranids flying at me sounds kind of fun. Is it something that you can see from a distance, or are they coming at you?
Yeah, they're much scarier.
They're just Tyranids.
Yes, especially when they're hundreds and hundreds.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they come at you with everything, and you need to use every weapon in your arsenal. You know, every move that you practice to stay alive. You can see here where the Tyranids are moving into the battlefield. They're on their way. It's nuts. And as they approach,
they gotta have grenades,
immediately break out into individual units that have their own AI.
I was going to say, how does that work with the swarm? Are they all on a set path? Or as soon as they land, is it just like the fastest route they can get to you and start messing you up?
So our new advanced AI director coordinates the battle.
Nice.
So the swarm can come from different directions.
September? Jeez, that's
the swarm
so
kind of
close.
like breaks apart, like when they separate. That can happen at different times based on the state of the battle, based on what you're doing, and based on what your Space Marine buddies are doing.
Tim, you've done it again. Did you see that one?
No,
Did you see that one? Show back.
That one was.
Oh, yes. I'm so distracted. This looks so good.
You just said that they assess what the state of the battle is.
Yeah.
Does that
They're
mean
like,
they're also
shut up and stop
reactive?
talking
If
so I can watch
they're thinking,
this.
oh, he's got this lane covered, let's direct some around here to sort of flank. Is that the sort of thing you're talking about?
Yes. So you are a Space Marine. You're a Primaris Ultramarine. Okay. But we can't make the game super easy for you.
Nah.
So you'll feel like, yeah, I'm bashing these Tyranids, but then they overwhelm you. And then the AI director can
channel
bring
membership.
in more advanced
Alexis,
units
welcome to the
from different
live
directions,
stream. Welcome to the Deathclaws, guy.
And so the ultimate goal is to feel like you're not going to survive, to feel like this is you're going to lose, but you make it and you win, and it's a great feeling.
It's like at every
Pokey,
opportunity
thank you for
you're
doing
just
that.
about to close the gap, feel like you're getting ahead. And
That looks really good.
Like Sebulba, just
I was not expecting that, I have to say. It does look really good. 3-player co-op.
Yes.
Crazy.
Execution attacks. They do look really good.
Thanks.
Very on brand.
I love
like
executions.
Yeah, that gameplay we were just looking at, by the way.
Thank you,
The
Carl.
sheer size of it. Yeah, here we go. Look at
What
this.
is that?
yeah.
No.
I mean, we can see a little
What
bit
is
of the
that?
here. Maybe
That
that's
looks
a
exactly
flying-
like Gears of
they're-
War. I'm
they're
sorry, but
flying
that looks like
Tyranids.
straight up Gears
You know,
of
in
War.
this particular battle, you know, they're attacking these huge kind of radio towers, and you just like destroy them as you try to survive, because they start landing. Different units start landing on the same platform that you're on. And as you can see, there's lots of ways that you can go about.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah, not for you, mate.
So it's not just mindless violence. There is also quite a lot of objectives, mechanics to be following as well.
Strategy, yeah.
Yes. So if you
Ooh,
played
look
the
at
first
that.
one, and I know you haven't, that's okay.
I've got some homework to do. I understand.
This is our melee system is much more advanced. It's much deeper, and our ranged combat system is also much more advanced. So I like to call it the dance of death, where you have your melee, your blocks, your reactions, your critical hits, and then you can also pull up your ranged weapons, take out enemies from a distance, and you really need to learn how to use the tools in your arsenal of death to win the battle.
And it's not just the people right in front of you. I know we're taking things off the chain here, the Tyranids, but the chain's integrity in the top right corner. So I'm clearly guessing that if you let that get to zero.
Yes, mission over for you.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Were there any other technical developments that really plussed up Space Marine 2, by the way?
So this is our own technology.
Nice.
And when you build this technology for a game, you can make it awesome. We talked about the swarm.
Thank you for
we
doing
talked about
that.
the AI director. It's crossplay.
No.
Yes.
Ooh, I love that.
So you can beat up your buddies.
You can beat up your buddies.
You're first, by the way.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yes, and then the true you can play solo, you can play PvE, and there's a full-fledged PvP mode as well. So it's a very dense game.
So they got everything.
It's as dense as a Space Marine.
Oh, I love it. So give us some more juicy information. When can we actually get our hands on it?
So Space Marine 2 comes out September 9th. If you
that's
pre-order
soon.
it now, you can play it early.
Yes,
It's right around the corner.
dude.
We're testing the servers, making sure that the infrastructure can survive the Tyranid horde that's coming. We feel good. The reactions to the gamers here playing it, it's great. We're excited, and we want to get it out the door.
Amazing.
Thank you, Tim.
It sounds like you're super busy. We'll let you get back to work on getting on the horde. Thanks for stopping by.
Run out of time, Tim. Crack on, bud.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, though. I'm definitely playing.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
Well, coming up, though, our friends at Xbox Game Studios show us how nations are made in Ara History Untold.
Butler,
and then we're going to catch
welcome.
up with the team from
I was gonna
Obsidian
say, how much-
Entertainment.
did they say it's
Give
crossplay?
You guys,
I know they said
an
that you could
exclusive
play just
gameplay
about everything.
presentation direct from the Avowed Theatre here at Gamescom. But first up, it's what First Descendant fans have been looking forward to all year long. It's invasions right around the corner, and we also got a look at what you can expect. And we also just learned, by the way, Charlie, that the newest Descendant, Haley's character trailer, will be revealed before the update goes live August 29th. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, have a look at this.
We managed to fend off our enemy's large-scale attack, but the war is far from over. The Colossus still threatens us, and our enemies are plotting new strategies. Can Ingress ever find true peace? Has Corel really given up on the war? After Corel's fleet disappeared, the Vulgus began moving from deep within the dungeon to raid the Ancestors' facilities in Ingress and reclaim the outpost. Detecting this, Ingress immediately dispatched a scout. That scout's name is Haley. Haley, who rose from a supply soldier in the guerrilla unit to a legendary sniper, is now a newcomer in the Descendant Corps. Ruthlessly eliminating enemies with her anti-material sniper rifle.
Interesting.
She dominates battles with her ability to drop her body temperature and emit cold air when her emotions run high.
It'll just depend if I actually have the
her
money
weapon's
to
critical hit
get it
multiplier
when it
increases,
comes out.
making her an excellent fit for sniper rifles. She possesses sub-zero bullets that fire multiple shots in an instant, and a storm snare that pushes back and rapidly cools down enemies in front. Above all, Haley's specialty is switching to her anti-material sniper rifle and firing a single, incredibly powerful shot, stronger than any other attack. In Season 1, the Vulgus launches a new strategy, the Invasion. Invasions occur randomly in 2 dungeons of the hard difficulty infiltration operations. Players can choose to enter between the existing operations or the invasions.
They tried to do it at
Invasion
launch,
dungeons are only
that
available
was
for
shut
solo
down.
play. Testing the strength of the Descendants, 3 Vulgus legions will block the Descendants with different defense mechanisms. The quantum field creates an immortal state, impervious to physical attacks. The Resonance Shatterers cause massive explosions with the energies of RK and the Iron Heart. The Keeper Tile encryption device maintains a powerful security system. Invasion dungeons present new mechanics that disrupt the Descendants' operations. Solve these enemies' mechanisms and swiftly eliminate them. Invasion dungeons are designed for speed runs, and the faster you clear them, the greater the rewards that await. After coming in contact with the Iron Heart, Descendants experience an RK resonance phenomenon. This resonance grants the Descendants new powers. It's the season growth inversion reinforcement. Inversion reinforcement is a new growth system that resets at the start of each season.
Interesting, that's
kind
of cool.
5 types: hunting, attributes, recovery, survival, and seasons.
Yeah, it was.
Through the inversion reinforcement, Descendants gain beneficial effects for progressing through seasonal content, and can also obtain effects that compensate for their weakness. Each season, we plan to tailor and replace the inversion reinforcement effects, providing effects that perfectly fit the seasonal content. In addition to a new Descendant, a new Ultimate Descendant will be introduced in Season 1. Ultimate Freyna, who has evolved RK's toxicity into a more powerful weapon, will make her debut. In Season 1, you can discover Freyna's exclusive sword and uncover the tale behind the name of her skill, Room Zero Trauma. Excava is an assault rifle with powerful versatility. It can be obtained through the Battle Pass and is also available as a free reward. Excava charges voltage when attacking enemies and has a unique effect of firing the charged voltage as an energy grenade. It is a versatile weapon that combines the inherent versatility of an assault rifle with a powerful shot. Frost Watcher is a scout rifle that can be farmed through the Season 1 content. When hitting enemies from long range, it reduces chill resistance and enhances the damage of one's chill skills, making it a perfect fit for Viessa and Haley. If you've prepared a new Descendant, ultimate weapon, and inversion growth, it is now time to face the most powerful Colossus, Deathstalker. Deathstalker lurks in the darkness of the void, targeting the life of Descendants. It is stronger than any Colossus encountered so far. To protect Albion from the threat of Deathstalker, we must once again venture into the void, unravel the mysteries within the darkness, and intercept Deathstalker. The first Descendants first season begins on August 29th with Haley, a new Descendant, Ultimate Freyna, and the new Ultimate Weapons. New episodes, dungeon content, and void intercept battles await you in Albion, Descendants. The first Descendant, Season 1 Invasion. Play for free.
Yes, I do know that. But he doesn't always spawn.
I'm Carrie Patel here at the Avowed booth at Gamescom. We're so excited to introduce you to the Dawn Treader quest and dungeon. And in just a moment, you'll get a walkthrough from senior narrative designer Kate Dollarhide, who's also the writer for this quest, and our community support manager, Chris Stanek. Don't forget to wishlist Avowed on Xbox and Steam.
Oh, good.
And look out for our release on February 18th. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the world of Aora.
Hi, I'm Kate Dollarhide. I'm a narrative designer at Obsidian Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Chris Stanek, the community support manager here at Obsidian Entertainment.
We're so excited to show you Avowed. I'm going to be walking us through the dungeon.
I'm going to be playing the game.
So let's get into it. Let's jump in. All right, so the Envoy finds themselves in a dungeon in the first region of the game called Dawnshore. They're searching for an Adherent expedition team that's gone missing. The expedition team was here looking for a holy relic that is supposedly in the keeping of the Oracle of Aethys, a man named Sargemus. And the expedition team hasn't shown up for the last few days, so let's check in with Sargemus and see if he knows what happened to them.
I'm sure he knew something.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It has been too long. I had feared I was the last of us, but you... Oh, the very sight of you is a balm for the soul. I am the Oracle Sargemus, servant of the once shining god, he whose light has lately dimmed. What brings you to this sacred space?
So you can see at the top here we have an Arcane Scholar background check. That was selected at character creation. When you play the game, you'll have an option of 5 background checks to choose from.
Nice.
We chose Arcane Scholar because we're playing a wizard and it just felt right. But let's check the lore, tooltips, and conversation review feature.
All right.
Chris, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, so on the left here we have the conversation history feature. This is going to allow us to scroll back through conversations we've already been through and just, check on anything we might have missed that we wanted to confirm. And you'll notice here that the words "Once Shining God" have been highlighted. This is our lore tooltip feature. Once Shining God is a reference to the god Aethys, the god of redemption, light, rebirth. He's also Sargemus' god. So here on the left side of the screen, we have a short paragraph about who Aethys is, his context, and a menu where you can select different lore tooltips. So these tooltips are helpful for us to, deliver lore from the world of Aora to players who are new to the setting or who are returning after a long time away, and just get everyone up to speed without bogging down the dialogue with a lot of exposition. So these are super helpful for us and hopefully for you. Let's back out of that. All right, I'm looking for an expedition of my countrymen. Did they pass this way?
An expedition? I'm afraid I don't understand.
An expedition? Treasure maps, matching outfits, campfire songs, the works.
I am familiar with the concept, tomb raiding and the like. What troubles me is why they would come here. These ruins are not so different from the many others on this island, except that they are a good deal more treacherous. And this representation of Aethys we stand before, it is the work of my own hands. They could not hope to move it. Do you know what their purpose is here?
Let's select option 2. They were searching for a relic you're rumored to keep here.
Ah, the splinter of Aethys. I suppose it was too much to hope they were here to examine these exquisite ruins. Truly, it is their loss.
Where do you keep the relic? I might find them there.
It rests in a shrine deep within this temple complex, beyond the reach of looters, visitors, or indeed myself. The path to the relic has fallen to ruin. Some sections are flooded, and others are infested with all manner of creatures. Although, perhaps you might assist me with that.
If you're about to ask us to tidy up, think again. My place is a much bigger mess.
Oh, no. I had something far grander in mind. You see, this construction beside us is no mere statue. but a reliquary I have built to house the splinter of Aethys in its appropriate grandeur. It is nearly complete and
Liquid
ready
snake,
for
you
the
think?
splinter to be interred. But I can no longer reach the
Could
relic
be.
on my own. Return it to me, and who knows, perhaps you will meet your expedition along the way.
All right, I'll be back before you can say 10 praise Aethyses.
I am most grateful. Oh, and please refrain from touching my statue or devices. May light illuminate your path,
So what do you do?
cousin.
What happens if you touch it? I need to know.
All right, so Sargon has had quite a lot to say there, but essentially he was saying that he didn't see the expedition team that we're looking for, but if they're looking for the relic, that might be where they are. And it just so happens that he also needs this relic to complete his statue here. His beautiful statue.
He worked really, really hard on it.
He has. He's put a lot of stuff on that.
It's like when my son makes things out of popsicles.
It is giving Lego. So you made me lose my train of thought. You're demonic. So looks like our quest marker is pointing us to an area down below us, but I see that Chris wants to explore a little bit. So let's look at these breakable boards. It's got a sword symbol there. Can we get the sword out?
Yeah. Leave those be. They protect my devices.
Oh, I don't think he liked that.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Surely he
Well,
won't hold it over us later.
Let's leave those alone for now and keep exploring. So, ooh, more breakable boards. Awesome. Let's hop across this chasm. Keep heading up. So we have designed Avowed with a lot of vertical space in mind to make use of our parkour system. So it always pays when you're exploring to have a look around and always look up. You never know what you'll find. Like
Ooh,
this
a chest.
Ooh, we've got an accessory and some crafting materials.
Spider leg, is that what that says?
Let's open up the inventory screen, take a look at that. So that's going to be Night Mistress's favor. This is going to give us additional essence for standing next to our companions. Essence
Touch
is
the devices.
What,
I was like, I want to
spellcasters
see him touch
cast
the
their spells
daggone
from.
statue.
It's our, I can't remember what the word is now.
It's our resource.
It's our spell resource.
Yes.
It's our spellcasting resource, of course. So Night Mistress's favor is going to allow us to cast more spells for longer by generating additional essence when we stand next to our friend Kai. So let's look at the character screen. All right, so we have attribute points on the left and our character sheet on the right. You will have seen the attribute points come up in conversation. We select a number of those at character creation and then a few points here and there on level up. So we have put a number of points into intellect because we're playing a wizard. So we want that additional essence and that elemental resistance to give us a little more survivability in combat. Now let's turn to our character sheet. You can see that we're level 6. We are close to getting a new level, close enough. We've got our background there.
Not that close.
And then our health, essence, stamina, data, all those good stats that you can keep track of over the course of the game. So let's look at abilities. All right, we have put quite a number of points in the wizard ability tree.
Oh, okay,
because
so
we're
they
playing
got like
as a
skill
wizard.
trees.
The first one we selected was the Wand Mastery passive. This is going to give us the ability to do additional damage with wands. Because we're double wielding wands, that's going to allow us to do a lot of additional damage.
Double
And
wielding
then down below it, we've got the
wands.
Blood Magic passive. This is a really fun way to play and definitely one of QA's favorites. Blood Magic essentially lets us start casting from our health when we
Good
run out
God,
of essence.
dude.
So if we're slinging spells back and forth in combat, we don't have to use an essence potion. We can just
You
start
reduce
using
your
our
health by
It's a risky
60%,
strategy, but it is
though.
very powerful. Let's look at Grimoire Mastery. All right, Grimoire Mastery does a number of things. First, it lets us use higher level spells as we upgrade the ability. It also lets us memorize spells from our grimoires. So if you have a
I wonder
grimoire
how
you
hard
really
that's gonna
like,
be.
but you get a new one that's cool and you want to try,
I always forget what they are.
You can spec into some of those spells from your previous grimoire and then toss it aside and pick up your new one.
Statue touch
let's
is
look at
skill,
our active
exactly.
abilities.
Well, in the Grimoire, it's all because of the power of reading.
That's right. We do love to read here in Obsidian. Okay, so active abilities, we've got a Corrosive Siphon. This pairs very well with blood magic. So essentially with Corrosive Siphon, you use this ability on enemies, it steals health from them and returns it to you.
Wow.
As a blood mage, this means that I can cast more spells for longer and I don't have to worry about dying in combat.
We're not gonna die.
Never. You've never died while doing this.
I haven't, and I don't plan on it.
Unkillable?
I'm offended that it was even brought up.
I'm sorry. I won't bring it up again. Our other active here is Arcane Veil. This is your classic magical barrier ability. Because we're playing a wizard, we're wearing light armor. We want to be light, we want to be nimble, move around the battlefield quickly, but that also
absorb
means
incoming
we're opened up
attacks.
to a lot of additional damage. Arcane Veil is going to help us catch some of that damage and not take it ourselves.
Nice.
And then down here we've got Bristling Frost. This is a spell we learned from our grimoire. Bristling Frost is going to create a ring of frost on the ground at your feet, and it's going to deal accumulated freeze damage to any melee units that come and get up in your business.
They're going to try.
Comes and gets up in
They're
your
not going to
business.
make it though.
No, you won't let them.
That's right.
You're just that good.
Well, let's not go crazy, because what's going to happen is I'm going to die so many times just now because of this. It's hubris. This is the curse.
And now that we've said it never happens.
Oh, it's totally going to happen now.
All right, so our quest beacon is sending us through this tunnel full of water, so let's just have a swim as we go look for the expedition team. All right, it looks like we're coming into Sargemus's old workshop. We've got some Audra there attached to some wires, a number of animancy devices around. Yeah, so Audra is central to the universe of Pillars of Eternity, where the people, plants, animals die, their soul leaves their body, flies into the nearest Audra pillar, and then goes deep into the earth to re-enter the cycle of reincarnation.
What's that down there?
Sounds like a lot of work.
But can you argue with the results?
No, you're right.
All right, so it looks like we've got a godless sigil here. Excellent, and a essence generator there in the back. So the essence generator is going to unlock that godless sigil, but let's see what's actually being locked here. Top down in the water. All right, it's a gate. Excellent. Ooh, and there's a chest back there. I want to know what's in that chest, but I don't see an easy way into this room.
I can try to ram it.
What?
I'm just going to try to ram the
Just
gate.
try to ram it?
Yeah.
Well, that's not working, so let's go back to that top level and see if there's another place we could look. Check this area a little more thoroughly. All right, it looks like there's a breakable wall there with an explosion symbol on it. We're not going to be able to break that down with our swords, so we're going to need grenades. Nice.
I was going to try to ram it again, but I don't think you would have liked if I tried to ram it again.
Here we have an essence generator. This is going to unlock that gate. You can see that it has
have
an
electricity
symbol on it, so that means we need something with electricity to turn the generator on. For us, that's going to be an electric lily seed, a electricity spell, or if you have a companion with you who uses electricity, you could use their ability too. For us, we're going to need an electric lily seed, so why don't we get that equipped?
I finally feel like I'm on a cooking show where something's pre-cooked. You're like, and here's the chicken.
And here's the switch. Yes.
Here's the chicken.
You did it. All right. So the generator is
Makes
running.
me want more Fable.
We've got an accessory and some
Transcendent
crafty
Suffering.
materials. Let's pop open the inventory.
It's a band?
We have.
What does that thing do?
Transcendent Suffering. So we're going to
Ancient
deal
elf
10%
monk?
additional damage, but also take 10% additional damage. It's a little risk, a little reward. I think it's going to be fun. Let's equip it.
I like it.
See, that stuff like that when it's like, I don't know.
All right.
It's got to be a better pro-con type thing. I feel like a lot of their stuff isn't worth taking.
Sargemus's library.
At least that's the way it was in
enormous library. Which is
Outer
pretty impressive
Worlds.
in the
I'm
world
always
of
like,
AOR,
nah, I don't want
where
that.
There is no printing press, so all these books are handwritten. It looks like we also have a number of red dots in our mini map in the top left corner. That means there's
can
enemies
dual wield
nearby.
wands.
So, let's deal with these spiders. What do you want to do, Chris?
Oh, I'm going to sneak
Ramming
up on
skill?
him.
Sneak up on
I
him.
was going to say he needs 10 points into the ramming skill. I think it's going to be a little bit more nasty spiders. That's
be a power
gross.
attack to that spider.
I need something that will kill
Arcane
all of them
Veil.
right then and there. I don't want to have to deal with them.
Spread the love around.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
Spiders love the
gets
corrosive siphon.
All right,
Yeah.
another power attack on that
So I'm
spider.
assuming this is
We're building up
one
that
player.
stun
I mean,
meter
like it looks
over
like it could
time.
possibly be two
That's
players
gonna allow us
because
to do a
the other
special
guy was
attack when the stun
talking.
meter's full. Looks
Like, how much
Kai
fun
set
would
his
it be if it
companion
was two
ability, and now
players?
he's taunting that spider, drawing aggression away from us, which is very nice. And now we get that special attack.
Hit it with some electricity.
Like the blue dude, he was talking
Back off and
to the
finish it
main
with the
guy
wand.
at the beginning.
Awesome.
Easy.
Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, let's keep moving. Ooh,
What's that thing on
it
the
looks
ceiling?
like we've got a blocker here, some webs in the way. Thankfully, Kai has an ability that will let us get right past that.
Okay,
Let's
so
use
now you
Kai's
control him.
fire starter
That's
ability.
unfortunate.
And that should burn right away. There we go.
It's always handy to have a useful friend around.
A guy who can do tricks.
Yeah, right?
He always has a
Like-
lighter.
And, you know, I'm
Party
walking around, I
tricks.
run into a web, I'm like, there it is. I got to get Kai. Call
He's
him up.
dependable. That's what we say about Kai. All right, so I don't see any sign of the expedition team, but what I do see are some Zorops and a water beetle.
I don't know.
So let's join their party.
So far it looks
looks like that damage we did to the water
they're
beetle
directing you
is
which way to
filled
go.
up again because he's being healed by the Zorop Elder. So we're gonna need to take out that Elder right away. Yeah, burn him down with Corrosive Siphon.
Get all my health back.
Looking good. Arcane Veil's active. We're healed again.
So he's dead
Kai's
already.
getting in the mix.
Good.
Oh, we got
Good
Bristling
friend to be.
Frost. Excellent.
There's
So dealing
they
with
went through that. You'll have to
damage.
rewind
I'm
it.
gonna get the Zorop up here. Thinks he's cheeky.
Where'd he go?
There he is.
Running away from us.
Did he jump up there? No. The beetle left? Yeah, the beetle's left. The little beetles.
Oh, he's so fast.
He's nimble.
There you go. Nice.
Did it.
All right. Done and dusted. Let's keep moving.
You didn't doubt that I was gonna die.
He
there,
didn't
did
loot
you? Like,
anything. What is going on there?
I thought about it.
I need more
I
looting.
thought about it, but I was like,
How's
no,
it
no,
looking?
no.
I think
All
it
right.
looks interesting.
Chris.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't normally like sword games,
Okay,
though. That's
so
the
we
thing.
are still looking for the expedition team.
Like, about
Let's
as
poke
close
around
as I
this area
get
and
is
see if there's
Fable. I mean, I
anything
play
interesting
Elder
we can
Scrolls,
find.
but I mean, it's not
see two
my
godless sigils above a locked
my thing.
gate. And there's something in
I
there.
have to be
these
pretty
ruins
desperate
don't
now. I
want us
have
to
Fallout
get to.
76, so I'll probably never
Thankfully,
really
there's
play it
a
again. I
wire
doubt.
on the left and a wire on the right. I think those are going to go to the essence generators. So the one on the left was going below us. Let's pop down there and see what we can find. Yes, there
Aha.
it is. All right, that's one down. Where's the other?
You look at that tree.
Should be close by. It was right off to the right. Oh, there it is in that gap.
Right, oh,
on the left.
Right
on the
there,
left.
right there, right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Got it. Boom.
Nice. All right, with both those sigils activated, the gate is open. We can get our prize from the sarcophagus.
Ooh, look at that.
Bitter bonding. Let's check that out.
All right.
All right,
Mistress
10%
Bitter-
of weapon
bitter
damage
bonding.
restored as health. This is going to
Ooh.
be super helpful for us as blood mages.
That's nice.
So as we're doing damage, we're going to get a little bit of health back. That sounds fun to me. Let's equip it.
You got it. Pardon me, Kai.
All right. So I think we're near the relic. We haven't seen the expedition team yet, but we might as well pick up the relic while we're here.
There's the relic.
It's really
It
shiny.
can't be as easy as just grabbing it.
Ooh. But I don't think the ruins liked us taking that relic.
Oh, now we got
had a bit
Indiana
of an
Jones back.
And it spawned some skeletons.
Hello, friends.
Hope you're ready for a skeleton fight.
Yeah.
I do like skeletons.
Always ready for a skeleton fight.
It's always my favorite
What they
thing
always say about
in
me.
Skyrim.
Christian,
You know,
always
Chris,
ready for a
always
skeleton.
ready for a skeleton fight.
There,
Oh,
Kai's doing
Chris.
some help for us over here. Excellent. I think we've got some rangers on the left. We should deal with them right away. Yeah, they're going to be no fun.
Look at that dual
Raining
wielding.
arrows down on us. All right, that's one down. Tower attack. Oh, a grenade
nice.
as he jumped. Nice. That was
Like,
stylish.
with the lightning.
Very
Oh, is there one
stylish.
more?
Is there another one?
I'm being sloppy. Where'd he go? There he is.
I feel like there's stuff on the ground. I'm like, please
oh,
pick
it's
that
this
up.
guy. That's why.
Oh, he's got a
Yes,
shield, dude.
Absolutely.
We
I
got
have
something
problems
for him.
with him.
All right, so he's got a shield,
That wasn't
which
it.
means we're going to need to break his defense in order to deal damage to him. That's why Chris is using a power attack.
See, that's why you
here.
need like an unarm or something. Magic that spell. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he's toast.
when you have magic, like you shouldn't have to use a weapon.
Try again.
Try again.
Okay.
Godless
This guy hits
executioner.
hard, and he has a very extensive range, so we want to
Look
stay.
at that big old sword
stay out
there.
of his reach. Ooh, it looks
Yeah, I
like
know.
he's being
That's what I'm
healed.
saying.
Oh, there's a priest up there. We got to get him right away.
Oh God.
Arcane Veil active. Corrosive Siphon.
Melting you down. No more healing.
Melt down
We're
that
done with
priest.
that.
Excellent.
Get that priest.
All right, now we can finally do some damage to the Godless Executioner. Ooh. Good thing we have Arcane Veil active. All right, we're building up some nice stun.
Wingardium
He's
Leviosa.
taking frost damage. He's frozen now.
Maybe he should let it go.
Let it go.
All right. Ooh.
Maybe Kai wants to get in on this dude.
Kai, give us a hand. Oh. And Kai finishes him off. Thank you, Kai.
See, they're not picking up anything.
Well,
I want to know what all this stuff is. They're like, no,
All right.
just
Hit him
no.
with a
I need
electric
more. I
lily.
need more looting.
We're going to need to
Looting
break his
goodness.
defense before we can do
Yeah.
some damage on him.
All right, I have to stop messing around. One
Oh,
moment.
Chris.
One moment.
There you go. Get
First
that
a
health
sec.
back.
Oh, it didn't work. I got potions.
All right. Resorting to a
They're over
potion.
here.
I can't believe it.
I know, it's the first time all day, too.
He's like, I've
All
done
right,
this like
Desert
15
Ranger.
times.
This. and
Another
this.
electric lily.
Yes, come into my electric pool of fun. You, sir. I've had it with you.
No, she's
Yeah.
standing there and he's
Whistling
playing.
Frost does it again.
All right, Kai, I need some help. Thank you.
Thankfully,
And
Kai's
again.
here to give us a hand.
Golly, he might die. He keeps on saying he doesn't die,
So we
but
built up that stun meter, and now we got to use a special attack. I wasn't worried at all.
Okay.
there's
I was
his
a
health
little-
being
I was a
regenerated
little
from his
worried.
blood.
That's
whatever
All right, I
it
was a
is.
little worried.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like the fight is through, so we can keep going.
I don't know,
Ooh,
Carl. It
looks
doesn't look like
that
there's enough looting
earthquake
goodness to me.
Caused some roots to grow and
need more
this
looting.
area to flood, giving us a new way out of this zone. Our quest has also updated there on the left side of the screen. Now we have
That's
a
like
few
one
new
thing about
objectives.
Bethesda games.
At
There's
this
always
point, we
so
have a
much
few
loot.
options.
That
We
and
can go back
Borderlands.
to town,
Borderlands does a
Herides,
great job
and look
looting
around
too.
the Adirian Embassy and see if there's anybody who wants this relic that we've grabbed. Or we can go back to the Oracle and say, hey, I got your relic, and see what he does with it. Or we can continue looking for the Adirian Expedition team, which we still have not found. And it's looking like one of our quest beacons has turned into an area beacon. It's that little circle inside the larger minimap circle. That means there's something more to find in this area, so we maybe need
you gotta
to
loot
look
those bodies,
around.
dude.
Hey, I see a purple crack in the floor.
There it is. What's that?
Yeah, what's that? Let's crouch down.
Oh, look at that.
Sneak through
Ivy.
I
I
need
bet
a
there's
light
something
or
back
something
here.
though.
Ooh, a hole in the floor. Perfect.
There was a hand thing up there. I'm like,
Kai
please
does
go
not
back.
like the vibes. Oh.
This,
that looks
doesn't
promising.
look good.
No.
Not
Looks
at
like it
all.
might be the Adirian Exposition team.
Oof, this is
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah, that's the Expedition Leader's journal. That's too bad.
Well, we found the expedition. Looks like they've only been dead a few hours. But how did they get in here? They can't have come the same way we did. We swam here.
So they can't swim.
What's stranger is there's not a scratch on them. No sign of what killed them. It's like every member of the expedition team just collapsed.
Looks like we passed this intellect check, so I want to select this one. They
Does it
didn't
give
get
you
locked
XP
in
for
here on
doing
their
it?
own.
Let's
The
find out.
Oracle put them here.
We're using our big brain problem solving.
That's right.
Here's an idea.
Oh,
This
it doesn't
temple is
show.
full of old animancy equipment. Could he be building a giant animat? I've heard of those, but I've never seen one. They're suits of armor brought to life by bound souls, right? The Oracle
Morrowind?
couldn't have put the expedition's souls in the statue of Aethys, right?
Let's go ask
Damn,
them.
they are big. I didn't even
You
pay
wanna do the
attention. I
crack?
thought that was part of like
Right.
the. I thought it was a
I can't do it
headpiece,
either.
but now it looks
Oh,
like
that's a
part of
good
the
one.
hair.
That's a good one.
Whatever the Oracle has planned for that relic, and for us, it can't be good, Envoy. Aethys is a dangerous god associated with Eora's bloodiest wars, and he recently killed thousands of people in Deadfire.
Time.
Now we have a piece of it,
Tweezer
and
me
we're about to face a
eyebrows.
maniac who wants it desperately. Tread carefully.
So Kai is right to be concerned. He thinks the Oracle might be engaging in animancy, which in the world of Eora is
that
a
like
little
necromancy?
dicey. Animancers have a pretty poor reputation, and honestly, in much of the world, animancy is illegal or really frowned upon. Animancers are soul scientists. They use essence, or the stuff that souls are made of, to enact great magical works in the world, but also a lot of tragic stuff. So let's go talk to the Oracle and see what he has to say for himself.
He's got a perfectly reasonable explanation. He seems...
Boss!
You know,
it's gonna
on
be
the up
a
and up.
Vena
Yeah, these things that people do.
You have been gone some time.
This is Avowed. Jennifer,
Do you
welcome.
carry the splinter of Aethys?
This is
I
Avowed.
found the bodies of the expedition team in your workshop. Did you kill them?
Yep, choose that one.
Ah,
Get right to the
I
point.
did not expect you to be so thorough in your explorations. Nevertheless, I am
Okay, now you had to destroy a statue. Please do
As
it.
to whether I killed them, well, that is a matter of semantics.
Uh-huh.
Does death occur the moment the heart ceases beating, or when the soul is broken upon the wheel? In one sense, then they are quite dead. In another, they remain very much alive. In either case, they have entered a state of change, and the impetus was mine.
Let's see. It looks
You're
like
gonna
we
put their
passed the
souls in
perception
your
check.
statue, aren't
You're gonna
you?
put their souls in your statue, aren't you?
Yes, you and you alone.
So if
see
we
my
open up the
purpose
statue, we're gonna get all
clearly.
those souls back? Can like we
You
save
see,
people? I wonder.
I have given them the opportunity to be part of something larger than themselves. With your help, I shall give them a new commission. To prosecute the redemption of a god.
How do you expect to redeem Aethys?
That's his god.
Do you carry the relic I asked you to collect?
I do carry it.
We do.
Excellent. The relic you have retrieved was stolen from Aethys' body. He is bound to it, or it to him. And before the events at Ukaizo, he would speak to me through it. He speaks to me no longer, but I believe he resonates with the splinter yet, as I do. If I am correct, when it is placed in the statue, the magnifying power of the Ardra will draw him into it, and he will be trapped.
Exactly.
Locked into the reliquary with a chorus of furious souls acting as his conscience. He will finally begin the work of making right all the wrong he has done. All that is left is for you to place the splinter into the statue's chest. Will you do it?
I mean, we could just give it to him and he could go up there and
What
do
do you
it.
think?
We gotta go up there and do it too?
I want to
Okay,
do the cool
okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yes, I will put the relic
All
in the
right.
statue. I want to see where this is going to go.
Once you have placed the splinter into the statue...
I'm just saying he could go up there and do it. Like,
He's 600 years old. Give him a break. He's got brittle bones.
all right.
Oh, for God's sakes, kill him.
All right, guy. This time.
Oh, they're
I'll
gonna
bring
let
it
him
up there,
live
but next
after he killed
time-
all the people?
It's your turn.
Yeah, you're gonna fight the skeletons.
All right, let's hop up on the scaffolding. Get the relic in there. Nice.
There we are. Now, to fill the statue with essence. Do
By
me
that,
the
he means
honor of
dead
pulling the
people's
lever,
souls.
Just there. And my lord will
All right, let's do
return
it.
to face justice. Any moment. Oh. My god Aethys. Are you there?
Some Frankenstein stuff there.
No. It's not working.
How long was he working on this again?
A few years.
Oof, this is gonna be awkward conversation.
Yeah. Let's see what he has to say.
My Lord Aethys has not returned. Something is missing from my design. Something I did not account for. It must be the chime. Without its ringing, he cannot hear the statue's call. My cousin, will you join my holy work and lend your chime to the cause?
So this chime that Sargemus is talking about is unique to godlikes. Only godlikes have a chime. It's what the gods give them before they're born to mark them as their own. As a godlike of Aethys, Sargemus has a chime given to him by Aethys. As a godlike of an unknown god, we also have a chime. So what he's essentially asking us is, will you give up what makes you special and die for my experiment? And at this point, we have a few options. We can say, sure, Sargemus, I would love to die for your statue. Or we can try to convince him that actually he should die. As a godlike of Aethys, Aethys is probably going to want his chime and not mine. Or we can attack him. I kind of want to attack him.
You want to attack him?
I want to attack him. He's got a glowing sword. I want that sword.
Yes, we've been too nice.
I want that sword.
There's nothing to fear. You won't feel a thing.
Give him
Alright,
a moment
good luck.
to get settled.
Ooh, he's fast.
He is fast. See, he's just acting like he's old. He's not that old.
He's acting like he's old.
Building up some good stun.
I'm a little out of breath. Ooh, I'm out of breath. Sir, please stop.
Kai doing some work.
He's like, sir, please stop.
All right, second wind is activated. We're up.
See, still not a death.
Down but not out.
Not a death.
Still not a death.
Activated. Let's just do some frost accumulation, arcane veil, and corrosive siphon. Nice.
Ooh, he's like putting the hurt on him.
Kai's using his companion ability. Now he's drawn the aggression. That's going to be really helpful for us.
Grenade action.
A little power attack, grenade.
Boom. Kai gets that.
Oh.
Perfect.
Kick him right in the butt.
Well done.
They'll put that in.
Well
that
done.
blood on the sword. I wish it was dripping down though.
Let's loot his body.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
Said he'd
He's
make
got a
the
great
blood
sword.
drip.
Last light of day. Can we equip that, please?
Of course. Ooh.
Beautiful. All right.
You nice.
So that's not the end of this quest, but it is the end of our time together. So thank you so much for looking at Avowed.
Pretty good.
We were so excited to show this to you, and we hope you play it on February 18th. Thank you so much.
I know you are.
Aura
You've been excited for a while,
Untold,
though.
a 4X grand strategy game spanning the ages is beautiful to look at, yes, but it's even more fun to play. Here to walk us through this epic world, please welcome Xbox Game Studios executive producer Matt Turnbull. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, this is going to be a fantastic segment. How are you enjoying Gamescom so far, though?
Gamescom is my favorite event of the year.
Agreed.
Honestly, it brings so much energy to
Remove
be able to
damage
interact
numbers,
with people
though?
who love games, who
Like,
do
I
those
feel
things.
like
The
I
booth
have
we
to have
have
the
this year
damage
is
numbers
incredible.
on for like
So detailed
shooters,
and
just because of the
beautiful over
hitboxes.
Yeah, we're finally coming out, right? The game is finally ready. It's coming out September 24th. Have to
Like
drop
when
the
you have
date
a
in
sword
there.
or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, check, done. But the booth has just been a really fantastic experience, getting to actually let people play hands-on with the game, experience the game it's the way it was meant to be played, and just feel like they could become a leader.
100%. Well, we're going to do exactly that now. I cannot wait to see this live gameplay demo we're going to do. So I'm going to let you just kick things off, get us into the game, set the scene, and I'll check in when I'll get a little bit nosy.
Anytime. You're always welcome.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. So as you probably know, Aura History Untold is a historical grand strategy game. It bears a lot of DNA from your classic 4X genre and some of the other genres around, historical grand strategy. This is Xbox's first foray into this genre. It's honestly not a genre that we've truly explored, truly gotten into before. We've made, obviously, with the Age franchise,
Splicer with a wrench.
RTS,
Nice name. Welcome to
true,
the live stream, and welcome
grand
to the
strategy,
Deathclaws.
turn-based is
Can we get hashtag for
new
Carl?
territory. And luckily, we have this incredible partner, Oxide Games, that has a tremendous amount of experience. People who have worked on almost every great strategy game you've ever heard of or played, and they are such an incredible partner.
Hokey,
and we're so
thank you
excited
for
to
that.
help them bring this game to life.
Oh,
It is an
stunning.
awesome
Okay,
name.
so as
Anthony,
usual, our
what's
first
up?
question when we
How
enter
are
a game
you?
is, what are we going to be? Who are we?
Yes, so right now you can see I've got Shaka Zulu here as the
Shaka
head of the
Zulu.
Zulu Empire. He has all these
Shaka,
different interesting
bro.
abilities. We have 10 leaders here at Gamescom. Now, when the game launches, we'll have over 30
Carl
liters
says, "Hey,
available
boo."
to play from.
Wow.
But we only brought 10 with us to Gamescom this year.
So you can fit in the suitcase. I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Just gonna make room. So right now, I think for today,
Jay
though,
says,
I will play
"Hey."
Nefertiti.
Lovely. Okay. Why Nefertiti?
Yes,
What's the
it's
choice
Carl.
there?
So if you look at her different abilities here, you can see things like farms and their upgrades provide additional food per turn. She gets big bonuses if she's next to rivers, as kind of a reference to the work on the Nile. And then as sort of a person who is very famous for being a royal wife and a queen that pushed
some of
the
the stuff,
religion
it just doesn't, I don't know, this doesn't
worship
appeal
of
to me.
the Aten, the sun. She had this opportunity to have these awesome religious abilities. So when you
How are
found
you
a
doing,
religion
Anthony?
with her, it spreads faster and you're able to move it more. And in those early eras, it can be very powerful and a really strong source of prestige, which are the points you need to win the game.
Splicer with a wrench
Interesting.
is
Okay,
fantastic
let's
name.
crack on with Nefertiti then. And here we go. This is my
Nefertiti.
favorite bit, map building. What do you suggest we go for today?
Well, we've kind of pre-set up a map that we think will be a good show for us. We've got 8 nations on the map. We have average sea level. You can change everything in the game from the temperature,
I'm
the
having a good
humidity,
day, man.
Humidity, wow.
even the axial tilt. And so this is one of my favorites because when you imagine, the Earth, you know exactly how it's tilted to the
Yes,
sun,
yeah.
right? So pretend that it was like a planet that was more tilted. In that case, the map it would generate would have a much hotter area, a much colder area,
Yep, I don't
a broader
know,
cold area,
when
depending.
you got one watching.
So it generates
I think it
all
was
of
a
those
little
things
while
based off
back.
of that. Now, you get a deterministic seed, which is basically a number that you could put in, and as long as you have the same options at the same seed, it'll generate the same map, which
Awesome.
means that if you fall in love with a map, I fall in love with a map, we can share it.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
got
Okay,
one.
awesome.
All
And
right.
what was the size of the map we went on here? Because I know, especially when we call this a grand strategy game and referring to some of the other games you've mentioned already, map size and scale and detail is so important. So A, what are we doing today? And B, what options do you have there?
Yeah, so honestly, the game has a number of different map options. At its largest map size, you can fit up to 36 nations on there,
Whoa.
all at once.
Goodness
And
me.
thanks to the power of simultaneous turns, which is one of the unique innovations in ARA, the players are able to all take their action within the time term, whatever the time limit is you set in multiplayer, and then a single player.
Yeah, it's
as
been
long as
like
you want.
over a week.
And then you submit the turn,
You
and
got
all
one.
the actions resolve simultaneously.
And it goes. Okay, interesting.
And so you can play with 36
welcome.
players, and it's totally functional.
Doesn't feel like
it
yeah.
wouldn't really work to play 36 players one at a time and over time at a time.
Yeah, with a cup of tea, like, come on, lads.
I would
do the
take off
thing.
for a while,
Yeah.
and then come back, and it still wouldn't be my turn.
Absolutely. So what's this exposition that we just got at the beginning of? And also Act 1 is an interesting thing to read.
Yeah, so in our History Untold, the game is broken into 3 acts.
Okay.
Now, you play the same leader from the very beginning of the game all the way to the modern era. When we say a History Untold, what we're talking about is the untold history of this alternate Earth, this alternate life of this alternate
that does
ruler.
sound
And so
kinda
you play the same history, you play the same ruler,
Okay,
the
let's
same
see the
nation.
game now. Okay.
You take them from the beginning of the first agrarian, the first farms, all the way to the modern era, and even a little bit into the singularity age.
Oh,
when
God. Okay,
technology
well,
comes
let's jump
together.
in. I want to see this first bit, and I'm picking up on that singularity bit because that sounds wild.
All right, so one of the first things you probably notice is that ARA has a kind of a different presentation. A lot of these games are inspired by board games, hexes, tiles, and I love those. But with ARA, we really wanted to deliver the player fantasy of being a leader of a real world, the choices you make. And so there are things like organic borders, so where the river goes is where the natural borders are.
Oh, I love that.
And you could do other things like if you zoom out and look around, sometimes you'll see mountain peaks out in the distance because your people could see those mountains. For right now, though, it looks like we have a nice little temperate forest here, some plains that are lovely. We've got some grains available, and we can zoom all the way down and see.
Oh my goodness, you get so close.
Yeah, there's some wheat growing over here, and then if I zoom in over here, you can see some rice that I could turn into some rice farms. Over here, it looks like there's some dangerous predators, in this case, some wolves.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
For a second, I didn't see 'em.
Do they move freely around the map, or would you go to engage them over there?
So you have to hunt them in order to be able to take advantage of this area.
I
And
see,
luckily, in
okay.
the early areas, I have this scout, which is a unit that can go out and do some great stuff. So I'm going to send my scout
Oh, wow.
there.
It's zoomed.
You can see how with simultaneous turns, they haven't made their full move, but they've indicated where they'll go.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the fun things about simultaneous turns is you can cancel orders at any time.
Oh, wow.
And so the game has the depth and complexity of like a grand strategy game with layer after layer after layer. As you set up all your moves, you'll see what all the impact will be, and then you can go, you know what, actually, I'm going to wind it back.
That's good.
And none of it will
So
go
can you
off
play with
until
other
you hit
people
end
then?
turn. So let's go ahead and get our scout
comparing it
moving
to a board
and make
game.
one other big decision that we make at turn 1, which is what to build. So
Interesting. Yes, because because there's decisions are very, very important when it comes to these strategy games, and I'm sure we're going to go through quite a lot of them anyway, but what's this first one that players are going to meet as soon as they start?
Yeah, so the very first thing you have is you have the ability to improve your cities. Now, Ara is a game about people. It's about your citizens. It's about their quality of life, you know, their happiness, their health, their education, and you improve your lands with what we call improvements that can do things like improve their quality of life or provide them with additional housing. So the first thing we're going to build is a farm, and that's going to help us with some initial growth. And
we
also,
have the same strategy here.
Yeah, you got to do it. And
So
especially
good.
with Nefertiti, it's just a great option. And so you can see the little ghostly outline is telling me that that'll show up too. And so when I hit next turn now, you see everything begins. My scout makes their move. You can see the people have begun work on their farm.
Oh, that's so nice.
You know, there are people working away at the
going
thing.
whistling away. Good stuff.
Yeah, over here I've got my great hearth, which
I
is
mean,
sort of the
it
center
sounds
of
like
our
it's
power
like,
right now.
it looks
where
like
our
a
leader
Sims
lives.
game.
Then
But
if I
then
go back
they're
over here, I
saying
see
it's
my
something
scout
else,
is over
so,
here
like,
now. I'm going to
kinda
send my scout to
confused.
hunt these wolves.
Ooh, okay.
Hunting a predator is about
Like,
clearing
why
the
is it a
lands for you to
turn
be able
if
to
it's
use, and
only
I'm
one
definitely going
person?
to want to build farms over here, what with the rivers
Like, it's just
and
like an
Nefertiti's
execution of an
abilities.
order.
Beyond that, when you hunt
Execute
animals, you
on a
also can end up
66.
getting some early resources. And so you can see the little guys going in there, getting ready to hunt the wolves, the
Good luck,
wolves running
guys.
away. But the value of this is going to be that I'll send back furs, possibly food, maybe even feasts that could help
Very good.
boost my city's power. So
Yeah, nice.
the next thing we're going to do is pick a technology.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so I'm going to let you pick, right?
Oh, Matt. Okay, here we go. I'm sitting straight. Let's hear it.
So we're in the ancient history era. Ara is broken into 12 eras across 3 acts. And so right now we have these very early beginning human
husbandry.
technologies of being
Animal
able to make
husbandry.
bows, of being able to ferment food into wines and other beverages, being able to do animal husbandry, understand how to raise animals, turn them into meats. So what are you feeling? What are you aiming for? Knowing what you see around you here with the rivers, the water, but also some of those grains, what feels right?
Oh, I'm
Rope
concerned
making
just
is
setting
what he's
me up that
trying to
there's a
tell us to
specific
do.
choice here. Based on how
many good
Boy,
choices,
what's up?
many options.
Based on how I normally play these types of games, and knowing that as soon as possible I want to start rearing animals at a farm, I've already told you what I want to do here, and eventually going into, you know, maybe more scouts and armies and everything like that. I think animal husbandry, for me, is where I want to go. I'm not too fussed on the pottery. We'll get to nice mugs and plates a bit later, but for now, I want cows and I want sheep.
Let's do it. And then we should go and take a look, see if we can find some of those things with our scout here pretty soon.
I will say quickly, though, on that decision, as it's such an important one you make at the beginning, what's a good option for first-time players? Is it animal husbandry? Is that the route you would typically kind of recommend
I could
people
see,
go for?
like,
Well, honestly,
if it was
there
an
are a
actual
lot of
board
different things you
game,
can
like,
do.
it's
It
based
depends on
off
what
a
your
board game, like,
strategy
some
is.
of
You
these
should
board
really
games
pay
can be
attention to
kinda
who your leader
interesting.
is and what their powers are.
And so,
if
like,
I was
it'd be
playing
kind of fun if you were
Shakazoulu
playing
and I
with
was
other
intending
people,
to
but, like,
meet my neighbors
it's
and
like
go and try
set
and
up
conquer
to
them
be a
right
board
away,
game
I might
that you
pick
play by
archery.
yourself.
But
And
if I
he's
was
even
playing
saying,
as,
like,
again,
this is
Nefertiti,
my
I might go
move,
for
I'm
grain
going to do this on
storage.
my turn.
Oh,
Like,
see, I knew you'd
but
set me
it's
up
just
all over
him.
the wrong one.
Or
So, like,
animal
is it
husbandry.
co-op or is it not
Because either of
co-op?
those
Like,
will involve farms that produce more
You know what I'm
harvest
saying? Like,
with
I don't
her
know. Like, it
that
just
help,
seems more
especially
like
if
a
I have
sim.
rivers near me.
Okay,
You know,
good.
but if I
But
was
it's
on a
not called
coastal
a sim.
island, if I was playing on an archipelago, which I think I pronounced correctly,
I think it was good.
birds or
Close enough.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I would maybe go for rope making, which can help you get early boats and those
Yeah,
types of
good,
things.
good, nice.
All right, so we still have
She's
our
like,
scout
yeah, but
idol here.
I want you.
We're
say
going
I
to move
could
them out
choose.
into
She's
the
like, I
wild.
want
Yeah,
animal
let's
husbandry.
expand the territory. We
Absolutely.
see the fog of war everywhere. You've discovered, what's that just down there with all the little pots and pans?
Oh yeah, so these are basically the remnants of forgotten civilizations.
Nice.
They contain
Stonehenge is just there, is it?
yeah, just an older circle that was made by some nomadic society. And so
earlier
eventually what will
circle.
happen is I'll be able to pick those up with my scout. And as I do, we'll be able to discover some things, and those things will possibly help me. So
Oh, amazing.
right now, for example, this collected some furs and some statuary. And so now we're going to go ahead and take this stuff. Now, one of the big differentiators for Ara is that it's taken the complexity of a crafting system, but really stretched it out over 12 acts, over the entirety of human history. And so at any given time, you can build these things that you can use as amenities in your cities. For example, because I found some statuary, I can take those old statues, I can put them in my city, and for 10 turns, I'll have additional prosperity.
Nice.
And if I had any culture improvements, like say a library or more like a museum or something, or an artisan studio making those pots and pans,
There we go.
they would get a bonus as well from the being inspired by
Oh,
the beautiful
wonderful.
statues. So I'm definitely going to equip that now, and you can see it's going to raise the quality of life of my citizens, and then I'm going to continue to build. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and money talks, right?
It does indeed, Matt.
Yeah. So you can always get more wealth, and if you get more wealth, you can use it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
One of the ways is you can rush production. I can throw money at the problem.
So you can prioritize things in the heat of battle if
Exactly.
something's going on and you need it.
You need it, absolutely.
Ooh, okay.
Now, you might notice these cougars over here.
Oh.
Pumas, bearcats,
Yeah.
all names for the same animal. But they are here. Mountain lions, that's another one.
There's another one, nice.
It's the animal with the most names. I don't know if you know that, but it actually is.
I've never thought of it that way.
Weird, but it's true. So I can take them and hunt those, but I'm not gonna because they're a little more dangerous. It'll take me 2 hunts, and I'll be at danger 4, and I could really lose a lot of health. So, like we said, we're gonna go look for some friendly animals. Let's go find some sheeps. Let's go find something a little safer.
The thing I've also found quite interesting is you haven't met any other people yet, and you said this is a small map size.
Yeah,
right?
so even on a small map size, there are quite a number of regions. There's a lot to explore.
Pressure or instant sort of heat that someone's right next to you and you're fighting for resources.
Not necessarily.
Is that intentional?
There is a bit of an intention to give people a little bit of space at the beginning, but honestly, you can set the game up in so many ways. There's so many options with map generation. You can make a tiny map where everyone is clustered together. You can create it so there's very little land or only a single continent, all of these different things. So in this one, this is a map style that really benefits that. And if you zoom in here, you can see our farm.
Wow.
When you build improvements in Aura, they sort of expand to take the space you give them. So this is a farm that's been built out here. You see the little scarecrow.
Let's say how aesthetically it's just set that up. As someone who meticulously spends a lot of time in every game making things look nice, it's got little
Halo
paths.
Wars.
It fits to the borders. It's lovely.
One of my favorite ways to honestly play is when I'm building a farm. The reason I chose this region is because I like big farms. I like them to stretch out, and I know I'm going to build a farm here with this grain.
Of course.
I want to make sort of a agrarian district along the coast here, so there'll be a bunch of beautiful coastal farms, and then over here will be like my city center. You can kind of play the game almost as a sandbox at the lower difficulty settings and really just build, the nation of your dreams.
And I suppose the most important question is, what's all this worth? What is the end of the game to conquer and wipe everyone off the map, or is it to have the most farms and to have killed the most cougars? I know you mentioned the singularity, but what is that point? What are you trying to do along the way?
It's a totally valid question. It's really good. To win an Aura History Untold, your goal is simply to become the most prestigious nation on the planet. You want to earn the most prestige. You want to be a nation that is known to the ends of time and that everybody will learn about and talk about all the way throughout history. So you can earn prestige many different ways. Everything you do has some form of an impact. For example, right now, most of the prestige I've earned is from the quality of life of my citizens. I've been providing them good goods. I've been farming, making sure they have enough food and everything. And because of that, I've been slowly earning prestige over time. When I was to create a religion, the more my religion spreads, the more I empower the religion by having more powers, which are called verses in the game, which give you new abilities. The more of those that I have, and the more that I can convert other nations to my religion, the more prestige I would gain from that. And you can do it through military, you can do it through commerce, and
I love the idea that there's someone making notes going, I'll give you a point for that. That was a good decision.
Yeah, you can have this prestige.
Yeah,
you can have this. You're a little bit more well known now. One of my favorite things about the prestige system is you can pivot over time. In the first act with Nefertiti, maybe I'll work really hard on spreading my religion, but then maybe in the middle eras, in the early medieval ages or something, I'll rush iron and rush into swordsmen and rush into knights and try to do some conquering. And then as I get into the third act, maybe I'll start producing masterpieces.
Thank you so much for following.
But you can do all of these things, and then you end up in this stack with the other societies. You can
you can constantly see where you're stacking.
Absolutely. And you can understand how you're earning prestige and where it's coming from and how you maybe could be doing better. One of the other innovations...
Forgettable!
Very sad.
Oh my... If I ever find myself there, I think I would cry.
Well... You wouldn't have to cry for long because at the end...
I can boot up a new go and start again.
Always. But also at the end of every act, the forgettable nations are actually culled from the game. It is a unique feature in Aura that allows the game to sort of consolidate the world, make the super... So when you get to the third act in an 8-player game, for example, you'll have 4 players, the superpowers. They'll all be what's left, and everything else will have been kind of forgotten to history. In Act 2, we'll lose 2 nations, and then all of a sudden there will be a rush on all of their incredible findings, all the ruins of their nations, all the stuff that was left behind.
I don't understand.
And people will be in that kind of age of exploration.
Wow, okay, I love that. So what I want to do now is a little birdie told me that you've actually prepped what an end version? Is it
Yes.
Act 3 we're jumping to? Is it Act 2? Where are we going to be checking out now?
All right, so we're going to go into a Act 3 save that
Okay.
was done where I was playing as Joan of Arc,
Fun.
Jeanne
Okay,
d'Arc,
nice.
who is plays as one of the rulers of France in the game.
Mhm.
In the game, they can have multiple rulers of different nations. So, with launch, we're launching with Otto von Bismarck to rule Germany, of course, because we're here at Gamescom. But if you buy the deluxe or premium edition, you get the leader pack that includes Hildegard von Bingen,
Okay.
who plays completely differently. She's a very famous nun from the ancient German times, and she brings a totally different play style than Otto.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I've got one other thing to show you, and then we'll jump right to that. I
Oh, okay,
promise.
right. Ooh,
So we've met a tribe.
this is okay, an event. Nice.
Yeah, so in tribes, when you meet these tribes, you find them out in the wild. That they are these small nations that are named after whatever the region is. So they're sort of inspired by real tribes, but there aren't any actual real individual tribes. They're just made up for that. And then inspired by real life, actual events in history. So in this case, there was a founding myth, and they attributed it to two different things, and they actually had this fight about what was their founding myth. So we've took narrative inspiration about that and created this one, where now they're asking you, should you do the Beastborn Prince myth for their society? What do you want to record in the annals of your great society?
Wow, okay.
Or the Foreign Prince myth? Or do you want to say, no, it wasn't either of those. Actually, it was a giant bird, and you're both wrong, and now you get more religion spread, but then you deteriorate the relationship. Here, this costs stone for you to be able to build out the Prince myth and create the
Hype
statues
level
necessary.
intensified.
In this one, you need timber
Not
to be able
really.
to do the things in the woods to kind of show off what the myth would be. And in both cases, you get prestige, but it's about what you have to spend.
Yeah.
So what would you like to
My
do? Do you like
golly,
the Beast
man.
Prince myth, the Born Prince myth, or do you want to bring your own?
I'm writing my own book here.
You're doing it.
Tell him to go away. It's fine. I can see it has a detrimental relationship
That's
effect,
okay.
but it's fine. This is my
Michael,
world, and they're living in
welcome.
it.
Thank you so much for the sub, man.
Now the Book of Charlieism is written, and
Yes.
we have that. And unfortunately, this will mean these tribal warriors might be mad at
Uh-oh.
us. These guys might be a little bit bitter. Is their current diplomatic status?
That's fine.
It'll
We'll
be
deal
fine.
with them later. It's
Yeah.
all good. Right.
We don't have to deal with them
Take
because
me
we're
to the future.
We're going to go
Take
to
me to the
another
future.
game. So this is in a bit of a war-torn world. It's in the information age, but some things have fallen behind a little bit because of the amount of war. And now it's kind of settled into sort of a firm Cold War state. But you'll see different prestige for the different rulers,
Okay.
and you'll also see a mix of different layers of industrial, of modern, as well
Oh,
as...
I cannot wait for
So
this.
you can see right here, there's a farm that's a little bit different, and we'll zoom out.
Whoa! That's so different. Look at that.
And that is the city of Paris. You can see the old city walls that were built up in medieval times are still there
Wow.
because you wouldn't see those knocked down in real life. You can see different buildings and improvements. If I zoom out further, you see the world's been much more explored. And you can kind of
Absolutely.
start to see it from, that airplane view if you were flying over it. Over here, we have one of our great triumphs. Triumphs take up an entire region and build housing around them. This is the amphitheater of El Jem in Tunisia. It is this incredible coliseum that was built by the Romans in the ancient times that provides a lot of different benefits to your society.
It's glowing as well.
Oh yeah, our triumphs, we always throw a little bit of a sheen on them, a little bit of
that's
magic.
gorgeous.
And then if we move around, you can see there's some horse track
There's a
there
race
providing some
track.
value.
The way how close you can get down with a
Oh,
camera.
yeah,
I mean,
This just
absolutely.
reminds me of
Oh,
SimCity.
Oh my goodness me.
Except there's
This
like
would be
more
what a wheat
to
farm
it.
would look like in this era as well. So the
History
different
aspect
crops
is
also have
cool,
different
but it's too
appearance as
much
well. This is
thinking.
a
I was gonna
stone
say,
pit that's
I don't
currently
feel like that
producing
there's that
iron.
much
So
thinking, really.
This is
Like,
sort
I
of an
feel like
industrial
there's-
mine,
Of
and you can
course,
see the
yeah.
industrial diggers there. And then you can always go into your
Like-
nested tooltips and say, okay, iron, what do I use iron for?
You know, like
oh,
when you're
I know, I use it to
playing,
craft
like,
telescopes
Avowed
or
or
steel.
something,
What do
if
I
you
use
make a
steel for?
decision,
I need steel for
it
a
has
lot
a
of
huge
things.
effect
I'm gonna
on
be
you.
using that
Like this,
steel
I feel
to
like you
make
just
To make
like
a toilet.
metal
click,
pots,
click, click,
indoor
click, click, and things are
toiletry,
going to
different
happen,
things that I can
and
use
it's going
as
to play out very
amenities.
quickly,
I
and
can
then
use
it's going to
to
be
craft
over
other
with.
buildings, for
Like,
example.
I don't feel
I
like there's a
need
whole
these
lot
machine
to
parts
this.
to be
You know
able
what I'm
to
saying?
make a
Like,
large
I feel like you
particle
could sit
collider.
down and play this
Or
for
I
like
would need these machine parts if
a
I
couple
wanted to
hours
craft
and then be
the
done with the
SRS
game for
8000,
forever.
which
You know what
is
I'm saying?
one
Like,
of the
it reminds me of
world's largest,
SimCity,
excavators
except
that
it's
have
got
been built.
I want one of them, please.
a
Yeah, you know, just one of
historical
those.
God,
part
there's
to
just
it,
no
and it
point where
doesn't.
you're not
I don't
informed
know.
of the decisions you're making.
You don't
and
get
can really
the
take
the
time with it
feedback
because you
that like
know
your community's
as soon as you're
happy
done.
or
Yeah, absolutely. And you
sad
can
or
delete the bits
anything
and
along
pieces
those
the way
lines.
and,
Like,
and
I don't
make
know.
it good.
Yeah, and you can see the
like
borders
SimCity's,
here with
to
the
me, is
German
only
state where we
so
had originally had
entertaining.
some wars. You can see the city of RJ still has some military units in there. It also has some interesting
I just feel like
things.
there's
There's a triumph
not.
here. I think we have.
I don't know. I feel like there's
Statue of
less
Liberty.
thinking really. Like I
We
just
have a
feel like it's
lighthouse
kind of
there,
like just
leading our
whatever.
ships into shore.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just whatever.
There's just a lot
I
going
feel like
on.
that there's
Everywhere
not
you look,
as
you
much.
can zoom in and see. And now,
I don't know.
It looks complex because it is.
Because I think
this is
the
a
game,
core game for core gamers,
like
for
of course you gotta make a
gamers.
decision, but like I don't think it's detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Like I want something that's gonna put pressure on me to be like, oh my god, I picked the wrong thing. Like that's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's making me feel like it don't matter.
The people you can find,
pick
everything else.
something.
Oh, that's so good. And it feels like a juxtaposition.
Not
to
the
say
dating
it,
game
looking at the screen,
where you have
looking
to
at
decide
here,
if you're
but this
going
demo
to
only shows
date
a
your
small
fridge or your
fraction
couch.
of the game, right?
We have barely touched upon.
Are there any other elements that you want to very briefly talk about now before everyone dives in?
I'll just show you this little airplane.
Yeah, okay. There it is.
As the world continues, as it grows, there are all those details. You remember those rules we
I
saw
don't
on the
see
internet?
that.
Now it's replaced by ATVs and airplanes and hot
The
air
natural
balloons.
evolution of a wolf
Exactly.
to an airplane.
Yeah, that's how they grew, I think.
I think I'd rather play like
and then
The
dinosaurs
Sims.
came after that, right?
At least there's like interactions and stuff that are like
And
interesting.
Tyranids, yeah.
To me, this is I don't know. Like I think I'd rather build a
Amazing.
Lego
Matt,
city
I can't thank
in
you
real
enough.
life.
This game is firmly on my download queue. I cannot wait to check it out, and I love that you've come here to talk to me about it. Have you had a nice time?
I've had an incredible time talking with you. I love talking with people who love this genre, and I've had so much of an opportunity to do that at Gamescom.
Definitely, it's just not
I'm
for
going to
me.
continue
I
to
can
do it
see
all
where a
through
lot
the
of people
weekend.
would
I'm going to be in the
probably like
booth
it.
and talking to all the fans
It's
and
just not my
players. And
thing.
I can't wait for it to come out on September 24th. You can pre-order it now. You can wishlist it. It's day one in PC Game Pass, of course.
Amazing. Another
Open
check.
world doing
Good
what I
job.
want,
Thank you,
quest
Matt.
and
Wonderful.
exploring.
Wow, thank you so much once
Not
again. You can get
SimCity's
your
fan.
hands, just as he said, on September 24th on PC Game Pass.
Like I think the funniest thing that I ever liked playing that was like I don't mind The Sims, like the actual Sims.
Side-scrolling proportions. This
like I
is
played
Tales of
SimCity
Iron
one
2.
time. I just didn't see the point in it. Ooh, this looks kind of interesting. I like art, so anything that's like artsy looking, I just automatically want to look at it. Tails of Iron with, tails, like a mouse tail, I guess.
Was not ready for their cruelty.
That's a bat. It's the Scorch Beast Queen she's got now.
An ancient evil.
It's the mouse from South Park. What's his name? Lemon Weeks.
Bewinged devils. They feast without fill, kill without reason. And
The Scorch Beast have definitely. This is where they came from. Now we know.
burns in blood.
Now we know.
Fight fire with
But like
they say.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, like at least you can make people like throw up and stuff. Like that was at least funny. You know what I'm saying? Like you get like immediate feedback from it. Like when you do something, I don't know. That game just seems too much like
Even greater than
a phone game, except for on PC. Like where you're just like, oh, I went to the bathroom, so let me do something for a couple seconds, and then like
of winter.
go back to not doing it. I don't know.
Just so many great interviews on this stage the last 3 days. We've just had
I guess
a
this is
blast.
it. This is, I think, the last day, so
good
this
bets.
is it.
And remember, with Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass for PC, you can get new games on day one, like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on October 25th.
I was hoping
Play
we were
some
gonna
of the
see more
biggest
Black
games of
Ops,
the
but, like,
year
it's
and
just, like,
unlock
no.
partner benefits from Riot Games and EA Play. If you are not already a Game Pass member, join now and get your first month of PC Game Pass for $1 or €1. This offer is not going to last long, though, so you need to act now.
So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Und auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. So, yeah, like the squirrel game looked kind of funny. I like that. Avowed's interesting, and then of course Indiana Jones looks like it's going to knock it right out of the park. Warhammer looked really interesting. I think I'd probably like check that out. I don't know if I'll be able to because of the date that it comes out, but it definitely looks really cool because it comes out like soon, like right after the launch of Malpost Zero. So I don't know if I'll have time to check that one out or not, but that one does look really cool. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of this. What did you guys like? You guys going to play any of the games that they showed? You guys going to be checking out anything new? I was going to say, I don't feel like they showed enough of that last one. The last one was kind of interesting. They could have done a little bit more on that one, in my opinion. I won't be playing anything except Indiana Jones. Not even Warhammer? With all the shooting? Uh-oh. There it goes. It's done! You're gonna say, yeah, Maddie's at
Protein
is
packed
at
for strength and
Gamescom.
recovery. Or
all right, let's get out of that. Honestly, I was gonna say I want to play that squirrel game.
Cool. I want to play now. Okay, but you talked about the ghoul, playable ghoul in 2025.
Okay, hold on. Let's go see if we can find that real quick while we got a second. Because we saw about 4 stars yesterday. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Let's get out of this. Let's see. Can we go into Twitch from here? I don't even know if I can. So let's just get out of this. Okay. Don't lie. Not really. Not even if it was free. Okay, let's see. Where is a Twitch? I'll see if I can find that thing with Jon Rush from yesterday, because apparently there's some good stuff. I think somebody said it was like an hour and a half in-ish. See, Bethesda. Can we go into their stuff? Videos. 3 hours ago. Yesterday. Here we go. Let's see. Let me get it switched over so you guys can see this. Our browser. Okay.
To make Elder Scrolls Online. So for some of us...
Is this current? No.
Cool. I want to play now. Okay. Building the camp.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Here is my colleague, Robert.
Hey, how you all doing?
Hi.
All right, let's see what they have to say.
Here, guys. So I heard we will talk about Fallout 76 a little bit with you.
That's what I heard. I'm here to talk about it.
We're here to talk about it. So, Jon, you're creative director on Fallout 76.
Yes.
So maybe can you tell our viewers a little bit what your job title entails and
Sinja, what's up? Good morning.
Daily work?
Sure. So a large part of my job is to sort of pave what our future roadmap is, right? So it's to sort of get with the other designers, get with the programmers, get with the artists.
Avowed seemed interesting.
What players want, like just spread out across the timeline and like a schedule of really fun releases. You know, so we get a lot of ideas. I think the best part about working at Bethesda Game Studios is there's no shortage of great ideas. Everybody's got awesome ideas. So probably the hardest part of my job is having to say no to some of them. But I love when we settle on something that we want to get into a patch and we start to really dial into it and flesh it out. It's a lot of fun because it's a lot of kind of hidden surprises in the core idea of these features that comes out as you talk about it more with all these creative folks on the team.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it's pretty hard to decide then. So what you're making, and I think it's quite challenging, isn't it? To decide?
It is. Yeah, you know, we all play the game, and we all read the community feedback, Reddit, YouTube. I mean, we take it all in. So what we do with the feedback is we sort of boil it down to like the broad strokes. What are the big themes? What are people saying? And sort of weigh that against what our own play experiences are in the game.
They showed that yesterday, Jennifer. Yeah.
Have multiple
at the very beginning of the stream
characters that I made myself. They were not given to me. And
he's very quick to say that every time.
All the time to feel what it's like to come out of the vault as a new player. So take that experience, look at the community feedback, which, by the way, Bethesda Game Studios has the best community in gaming. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Your feedback, your support makes. I mean, it just lifts us all up so that we love working with you. But yeah, we take that, look through the lens of our own experiences at the feedback, and kind of put out the roadmap of what we feel would be best.
Just going back a minute, you spoke about your various character builds.
Do you have a particular favorite one at the moment?
Nuke McCloud. Gotta be Nuke McCloud. Nuke McCloud is fun. He's very, very straightforward. He likes to get in the game, and he likes to drop nukes. So, yeah, that's probably my favorite. I post on socials is Nuke McCloud, and people come in and join me, and we drop nukes. And
oh, that's great. I've seen the screenshots of him. He has his gorgeous mutton chops and his beret and the green power armor. It's an iconic look.
Yep.
It's you're very active on social. That's pretty cool, I think, because you're answering community questions. You're in the exchange with the community directly. I think it's pretty awesome that you're a developer or a creative director to touch, like, so that the community can ask you a question and you're responding immediately.
The updates.
Well,
the game has come really far.
I love playing the game.
Did you miss anything? So they did Indie this morning.
I love talking to people about
Avowed.
the game. I think it's just the greatest.
There's this really cool squirrel game. Warhammer.
I think we're really fortunate to.
Now we're doing yesterday's Twitch stream from Bethesda with Jon Rush,
player base
since
and
he
vice
was.
versa.
We had the other one on Xbox.
Yeah, it makes it a really fun experience.
Supposedly, he gives out some other details.
Yeah, I mean,
that was different from yesterday. So we're going to see what they say.
You've met some folks down on the show floor today who have, shared their
play
experiences and such. So I know, when yourself and other devs come to events like this, they just love seeing the sort of face-to-face interaction. And we all play the same game as the rest of the players daily for me. So yeah, it's a really good way to connect with the community as well.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's also our job as a community manager to give the feedback right back to you.
And I thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. We know you come from an art background, having worked on some beloved games before joining BGS. And how does the artistic background help you in your current role as for the vision for the team, so as a creative director?
I think it helps a lot because, art, whether it's music or visual or any of the other kinds of arts, it's really just a different way to think about things. And so a big part of what we do in game development, the most of what we do are solve problems, big problems, small problems. So having, not saying I'm some great artist, but having a multidisciplinary background in music and in art and film, it lets me, I think about these problems in a different way. And likewise, for all the other folks on the team, Bethesda Game Studios is full of folks that are multidisciplinary, very talented, and I can see that kind of unique aspect to problem solving come through in all those folks. So I think that's how it's helped.
And how challenging is this? Is it, I mean, Fallout 76 is an ongoing game, it's a live game. So how challenging is it to have for your vision, your vision you had, and for the to balance it with the established and things and what the community love? How challenging is this to create something and think about, is that something the community would maybe
I'm
like?
watching Jonathan Rush stuff.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what I was talking about earlier.
He's got a Doom pin.
Staying in really close contact with
That's
the community,
awesome.
reading all the feedback, and again, not just taking it as like a checklist of things or running it through a formula that's nice and neat and tells you exactly what you need to do. As developers, as gamers, as creators, we need to play the game so that we understand where that feedback is coming from to make the best possible decisions that we can for the roadmap going forward. Like from a high-level view, we want to support our builders, we want to support our adventurers, and we want to support everybody in between. So we really try to line up the features so that everybody has something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. And at least we do see so much of that feedback as well, like especially in our official spaces. People do worry, I hope my suggestion or my report gets seen. It really does, and it all gets fed back, and everyone's all in these spaces to see it all. So keep it coming always.
Yeah, and 2024 was a crazy year for Fallout, wasn't it?
It sure was. Yes, it was. A great year.
Yes.
Another great year.
Another great year. Because, yeah, it was not just that the Fallout series dropped. Also our update, Skyline Valley, the map expansion. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So we are always on the lookout for opportunities in the game that allow us to continue telling our story, telling the story of Appalachia. I have come to view our Appalachia game space as really the main character of the game. And what we've experienced since day one of Fallout 76 coming out is how that character has changed over time. How players have changed the map over time. Additionally to looking for ways to tell our own stories, we look for any opportunities to empower players to continue telling their own. So an update like Skyline Valley, where we decide we want the map to mutate. We want to grow the map. And what does that do? Okay, well that gives us a chance to revisit a storyline. What's something that people have been at? Oh, Vault 63. People want to know what happened in Vault 63. Okay, so Vault 63 is kind of surrounded by darkness and mystery. So let's reflect that in the new region. So start to go through some previs and we get some concepts, and then there's this big storm, and that's the one. That's what we're doing. So that's kind of how Skyline Valley came to be with the theme, and how that really established the story of what was going on in Vault 63. The story supports the region and vice versa. Also, it gave players a unique new space to build out their camps, to take images of, to take videos of. If you look at the map I'm kind of giving you a long answer here. If you look at the map from like a top-down view, it almost looks like a theme park of sorts, right? There's these very distinct regions that have their own personalities and their own characteristics, but they're all under a Fallout umbrella, so they're all very thematically cohesive. So that was the challenge with making the new environment, was make it feel like it belongs here, but make it feel different, so that when you watch a video of somebody playing online, you know exactly where they are immediately.
Yeah. I think that's what, just rolling back again, when you call the map sort of like the main character in a way, I think that's one of the coolest things about having a live service game. It's like an ever-evolving story. There's always something new to tell and create, and you know, anyone who's been playing since the very early days has followed that story for over 5 years now, and it's been fantastic.
I felt really cute. Great work in the game. Keep up. It's one of the comments, so it's really cute.
Oh, awesome! Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the team. Like I said, we've got the best folks in the biz. I mean, I'm kind of just a personification of the Fallout 76 team. It's a team full of people very passionate about Fallout, very passionate about this specific game, and who love staying in touch with you all, with our community.
Talking about community, Fallout 76 has a nice reputation for having a very friendly and helpful community. What do you think, or why do you think is that the case?
Well, I'll preface my answer with, it gives me hope for humanity for the future. So I think it's great because before we released, I think myself and probably a majority of the team were quite certain that, it's a post-apocalyptic environment, it's Fallout. People are going to want to get in there and just kill one another and steal stuff. And it's not the case. Absolutely, our players want to help one another. They see a new player come out of the vault. Here's a bunch of free stuff. Yes. Maybe you're not high enough level to use it yet, but whatever, here, take it anyways. And so it's really cool to see how the community has come together. They really support one another as builders, as adventurers. It's great to see. I've never seen that in a game before. I've never seen that. This is what makes Fallout 76 absolutely unique from other online games, is the community. It's really cool.
Yeah, for me personally, it's always a pleasure to read the comments. Of course, there's sometimes one or two negative comments about something, like always, but it's pretty
time.
nice
I am
to
sure.
read. Yeah, and I built a camp, and I started the game, and there were so many new players, and I thought, yeah, I give them my weapon and armor and everything, and I was so, oh, that's cute, and I helped with building the camp, and I was, oh, that's cute. It's always a pleasure to read or to interact with the Fallout 76 community. We have such lovely Fallout 76 players and content creators, of course, and it's always a pleasure to work with them because they're so nice, so helpful, and always friendly. It's kind of scary, but they're all pretty nice people.
They're always defying expectations. Who would have thought that the most coveted item in the game would be a clean toilet? A clean toilet. Everybody has to have it. It's a must-have in the Wasteland. I kind of get it, but it was unexpected.
That's not one
it
of the
was a
things I ever
surprise.
want,
Yeah.
is the clean toilet.
Really
I'm like,
creative community as well.
I want
Just
it all
like the
grungy.
camps we see every week. Not even just the camps as well, but like screenshot sort of focused players. Folks who make videos, folks who do their own sort of like role play groups in the game. We have the Wasteland Theatre Company as one example as well. Yeah, there's sort of like it just attracts so many like wholesome individuals to the game, and yeah, back before release I was like, oh, you know, it's post-apocalyptic, but everyone's just made such
especially
a
the
good
camp
team effort
builders,
out
man.
of
They
it.
do like they
How
look at
much
that
time
clean
do you
toilet and see so
spend
many other
in
things than a
building
toilet.
your camp?
I just see a toilet.
So probably, if you looked at my camp and I told you how much time I spent building it, you would think less of me. So just because I love to build doesn't mean I'm great at it. So I have a camp that I use for Captain Nuke McCloud, and he's got his dungeon shelter. It probably took me maybe a couple days to put it together. You know, I think some of the more accomplished builders out there that I've seen could probably knock that out in 20 minutes and it would look a lot better. But I like it. It's fun. I think it's sort of an extension of that character's personality, which is kind of how I view other people's camps. You go to people's camps and they jump down and they're throwing stuff at your feet and they're showing you things. Their camp to me is kind of like an extension of the character that they're playing.
Yeah, and it's always so creative. It's to be honest, I'm stuck at camp building, to be honest, because I'm not so creative. I don't know. I'm always have my few things, and I think, oh yeah, it's okay. It's usable, but it's not nice in a good way. It's always just my camp.
You know, in the post-apocalypse, there's a lot to be said for simplicity, functionality.
Functionality,
Yes.
that's the perfect word for it. My camp is very functionality. And yours, I hope yours is better than mine.
To be honest with you, I used to run with a really simple camp. For the longest time, it was simply like a big wooden platform and like one of the sort of tents.
Yes.
I just like the idea of making it look like it was a mobile camp that I was moving around all the time.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's strength in keeping it simple. Immersion as well.
Simple.
And she's like, I don't know what to call mine.
Creative. Okay.
She's just like, I'm just going to move on, just move on.
I think the Fallout series was
More at our house.
huge
I was gonna say, I think
hit,
it's fantastic.
and I think a lot of new players joined
I love that
Fallout
thing.
76.
I had no
How was
idea
it for
that it
you
did
and your
that, and I went
team
to somebody's camp, and I was
to
just like
see
looking at it, and I was like, why
the
does it say
growth,
interact?
the-
Like, I
and
had no
that
idea
so
that you
many
could interact
new
with
players
camp objects.
discovered the game for the first time.
Like, my husband even had like a statue, and we had no
I
idea we
thought it
could
was
interact
great.
with it. It
I
was
mean,
like
it
when
was
we first started
really-
playing.
It really emboldened us, you know, that the decisions we've been making all these years have really resonated with players, that people coming in and experiencing the culmination of our year's efforts, maybe even for the first time, or maybe for the first time in a while, having that really resonate with them felt really, really good. You know, I think the show did a fantastic job at nailing the tone of Fallout, both in the look and the storytelling, how they maintained that balance of darkness with levity, and they hit that Fallout sweet spot, boom, right in the middle, and wrapped it up in a blanket of Americana. It was great. The characters were fun. So people who may have not known about Fallout, or maybe have played some Fallouts and hadn't tried 76, after watching that show and thinking, oh, there has to be more, I want to see more, knowing that they could go to 76, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, and get a lot of those same stories, the same tone, the same feel, was great. Seeing people come back to those games, and they're still there. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah, that's right. talking about, yeah, here, nah, not talking about. I'm out. No, we are on the Gamescom, obviously. So it's your first Gamescom this year. Of course, we have something for the players here on site that they can play. Milepost Zero is just a few weeks away from release.
God, it's so close now.
And
we got 10
what
days.
can you tell us about the new
Maybe
update
11
so far?
So the Milepost Zero update is it's a big update. Lots of exciting features. We've got, of course, the caravans, which folks are playing just behind us here.
Every time.
We have legendary crafting, which is a revisit to how players can tailor-make their gear to suit their play style, which is also very exciting. And we've got best builds, which is an awesome first step to getting our builders better connected with one another, better able to show off their cool camps within the game. We've also got several new passes at the combat rebalancing. It makes the combat a little more snappy. You're able to see damage over time indicated a lot better, so it gives the player a lot more visibility into what's going on. So yeah, big exciting update. It's really great. Folks in there are having a blast. I was in there watching them, seeing how they play, and it was really fun. Yeah, it's cool to see.
And you talked to one or two people and get direct feedback.
What's that?
You talked a few. When I was on the Fallout booth, you talked to one or two people, get direct feedback, how they like it, or.
I did. Yeah, it's great. I love getting feedback. You know, whether it's this could be better or this is great. I mean, it's all wonderful feedback. So, yeah, I was talking to folks and they were trying to get some secrets out of me, but that's not happening. Build? Not yet, anyway.
That happens.
What do you mean worst
very
build?
often.
Yes, it does. That's okay.
They'll
I
probably
can't
have
blame
that
them
next.
for trying.
You watch.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody there is having a blast.
They're gonna have like
Yeah,
it's gonna
it's been really
get,
good
like
to see
expanded to
everyone
like
just
Halloween,
go down there and
like
try
best
out
Halloween
Milepost Zero,
camps. They're
and,
gonna have like all sorts
you know,
of
we've
stuff.
had
This thing's gonna be
such
huge,
a
I think.
A
As
lot
long
of
as people
positivity
like
from
it,
it.
I think
There's
they'll
a few
invest
players
more
there
into it.
who, because it's on the PTS at the moment.
They'll probably have world's worst camp. Like
A
they'll
lot of
probably
console
have
players
competitions
who have
for
never
that.
had access to it before, they've been able to come and check it out. Folks who have never played Fallout before have come to check it out. It's been really good.
Most average thrown together camp.
To see all these new people try it, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the full release, and it'll be a great one.
One gamer I spoke to as they were leaving the booth had said that they've played a lot of Fallouts, had tried 76 when it first came out, and hadn't been in a while, but wanted to stop by the booth, so they got here a little early and were playing through, and they said they're back on board. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was really cool to hear.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying earlier, we had a big influx of players, especially since the TV show, and
that's a
it's
chance.
also great just
You'd
to
have a
hear
chance of
folks
winning
coming
that.
back from earlier, now revisiting it after all this time. It's good.
Yes. And talking about new updates, I heard you, not spoiling, but you talked about something new on the QuakeCon. What was it?
Yeah,
What was
so
it?
we've talked about Milepost Zero a lot, right? We know that's coming out September 3rd along with the new season. We've talked about ghouls, being able to play as ghouls early
Fallout
next
stuff.
year.
This
but
is
we
from
were kinda
yesterday. This
missing
is what we missed
what
when we
comes
were
in
doing the
between,
Xbox
what comes
stuff.
out like this holiday
Like we
season.
saw his stuff,
So
but then
we've
like
got
he had
an
an
exciting
interview
new update
at the
coming
same time that
at
we
the
were
end of this
watching other
year,
stuff,
which we are
Like, I think-
calling the Gleaming
so-
Depths. Raids, the Gleaming Depths. It is a fresh look at raids in Fallout 76. It is meant to be challenging. It is meant to be hard. It is meant to give our most experienced adventurers a run for their money. So
Wow.
it requires cooperation. It requires precise timing. It requires you to bring your friends along and
More people
do
gonna
your
play
best.
with me
Yeah.
on PTS.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so cool.
Some raids.
I want to play now.
She's like, I want to go
But
play now.
Yeah,
She's
you
like,
talked
I can't
about the
leave.
Ghoul, playable Ghoul in 2025. I need to move. You're here now, so I need to know more
About the ghoul?
about the Ghoul.
Yeah, people can play as ghouls early next year.
Can you tell us more?
Of course I can.
Yes.
So a lot of our features coming up are really geared towards expanding the optional playstyles for some of our in-game players. In-game players meaning really level 50s and above, right? Because level 50 is about when you start nuking the Scorch Beast Queen and braving the fights with Earl and whatnot. So Player Ghoul is going to be a feature that allows players gives them more options for how they play through the in-game content.
Yeah.
So to become a ghoul, you have to at least be level 50. You're presented with a quest that kind of goes over what it means to be a ghoul. If you choose to ghoul up, you turn into a ghoul, and you get all sorts of different powers that you didn't really have before. I mean, there's some drawbacks to being a ghoul, but there are some advantages as well. So one advantage to being a ghoul is that you're completely radiation resistant. As a matter of fact, radiation helps you. For instance, if I were to stub my toe and I got my health down and I drink some dirty water, it'll heal me. If I continue to expose myself to radiation, I start to build that radiation up that I can use in other ways.
What?
So while it might not sound like a huge thing off the bat, if you think about it, being 100% radiation resistant by default means I don't have to wear power armor, which a lot of people wear to stave off radiation.
That's awesome.
And so not having to wear power armor frees up a whole bunch of perk points I can use in other things. That alone is opening up different play styles right there. But as a ghoul, you have access to 32 new ghoul-specific end-game perk cards to use.
32?
32. Wow. To use in addition to the existing human perk cards. Wow. So those combined, dozens of new play styles that I can think of off the bat. Our players always surprise us. They're going to figure out things that we surely didn't think of. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do when they get this in their hands. Additionally, ghouls they don't have to worry about hunger and thirst. There's no hunger and thirst to have to keep up. Instead, they have a feral meter.
A parameter.
A feral meter.
Okay.
I'll let the viewers at home try to guess what happens when your feral meter runs out. But it's pretty cool. So yeah, as a ghoul, you have advantages and you have disadvantages. As a human, you have advantages and disadvantages. Some of those will be underlined a bit more to kind of
they're going to change the whole game because it sounds like
apart a little bit. But it's shaping up to be a really exciting feature. Really exciting feature.
Sure. I know that we spoke about feedback and community feedback specifically earlier, but playing as a ghoul in a Fallout game, I think, has probably been a requested feature since they were ever introduced in the first. So it's great that players now will soon have the opportunity to live that sort of role play experience and
different stuff.
All the mechanics associated with that. It's been such
even
a
if you don't get it until after you beat
reception
the game.
to it. I was there when it was initially revealed, and that room was blown away by it. They stood up cheering. So it's a really exciting time for Fallout fans when they can get that option now.
Yeah, the feedback was amazing.
Yeah.
As the information dropped that you can be a ghoul, it was a blast. It was, oh my gosh, how, when, and so cool, so amazing. It was so amazing to read all the positive comments about being a ghoul. My question is, can you decide to be a ghoul and one day you feel more like human again? Can you decide to be a human again, or is that not possible?
So, like all of our new features, I suspect most people, the majority, maybe all of them, will try being a ghoul.
Yes.
And like I said, it's to open up alternate play styles. Becoming a ghoul isn't an automatic, I'm more powerful than everybody else card. So some folks, they might prefer playing as human, and that's perfectly fine. If that's the case, you will be able to revert back to being a human.
Cool.
At no cost to you. Your progress will still remain. If being a ghoul doesn't seem cool, you can go back.
That was a practice line.
Don't be a ghoul.
That was off the cuff. Great.
That was pretty good.
That was off the cuff, he said.
So, Chad, who wants to be a ghoul in 2025?
I do.
So, I'm curious about it. But
I gotta see this.
Just to come back to the PTS, how important is the players' feedback in the development, in the ongoing development, the PTS feedback for you guys?
Oh, it's absolutely important. It is of the utmost importance. Getting feedback off of PTS is the whole reason.
Behemoth.
Really, we put that up there. You know, it's not to show off what we're doing. It's, well, maybe a little bit, but it's really to get that
It's
feedback.
not to show off what we're doing, but yeah, maybe
A really recent example of that was Legendary Crafting. Let's put it up. Let's see what folks think. It's a big change. Let's see how they use it. Let's see how they react. Thinking, you know, maybe we'll take the feedback and we'll release this a little later, and we'll see. It received overwhelmingly positive feedback. It's going out in 54. Absolutely. Good directed feedback on things to improve, such as the cost of being able to craft some of these things, or the rarity of some of the mods. So yeah, it's feedback. Like I said, we read it all. We took it in. We made the adjustments, and I think it's set up to be a really powerful feature. Absolutely. Legendary Crafting, Raids, the Gleaming Depths, and the Ghoul are all related. They are all related. They all are related to in-game content. The Ghoul giving you more ways to play, Legendary Crafting giving you more options, more agency in your builds, and it all coming to Raids, the Gleaming Depths, giving players a real challenge. And if they're successful at it, at the end, they get rewarded for that in 4-star weapons, armor, and power armor.
Really, it's going to be a really good way to sort of mix up the, you know, over time, certain sort of standards tend to cement, but with all the sort of changes and features coming down the line, it's going to really offer new ways and open up previously sort of overlooked ways of playing, I'd say. Yeah, especially with the whole tactical approach with the...
Okay, I know we have another special guest, not just you. I don't know if he's already ready, to be honest. I think, yes, there is he coming. Please sit down, Charles.
Ooh.
Hello.
Oh, that must be Juan,
yes,
the
please.
Juan company.
That is so cool.
So, that's Chris. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the stream.
Thank you very much.
You're from the Wand company.
That's right.
And you're here with us, and you have something very unique, something special.
Yeah, it's, well, you say unique. Hopefully it won't be so unique soon, because we'll be making a few thousand of them. Yeah, it's the Pip-Boy from the TV show. So from what you're doing, it's been forward a couple of 100 years and a few disasters, and then you have this new Pip-Boy from the show. I heard what you were saying about the ghoul and being able to play the ghoul. The show brings out, it's been so, it's such a rich embodiment of the game. But one of the things that it does so well is it gives each of those characters a real story arc that you really believe in and you want to sort of join in with. And I think that was just one of its major strengths, because not a lot of sci-fi, but a lot of sci-fi gets it wrong sometimes. It doesn't have so much of the story of the person. It's more like the sort of like special effects and the kind of story themes. But they made them, you saw the ghoul started off as painful, but by the end you really had his pain, you really felt it. Obviously the Pip-Boy stars is a major part of the story. I guess it's akin to everyone's mobile phone that they're using the whole time. It reminded me a bit, I know this is weird, of Harry Potter, the wand. The story is all about the wand, because really all the way through it you think it's about Harry Potter, but in fact it's about the wand. That's really what it is. And I think with the Fallout, the Pip-Boy is such a sort of anchoring thing, such a central feature of their... I mean, 76, we made the Fallout kit for 76, which was really successful. So it was a joy to work on this. Now we can make a functioning one. I'll just turn it on. There we go.
Look at that.
Amazing.
I
don't know where I need to... Oh, hi
there.
there.
You go.
This camera.
This one here, there we go.
Oh, so you can't see it if you're not like...
Yes. So let me just show you here. We can adjust it dynamically. So I'm just adjusting his status, really, his health. So I can make him really sick, or in fact dead.
Ghoul effect.
That is cool.
That looks amazing.
All the buttons work exactly as they do in the show. you know, if you turn this one here, this is the thumb wheel. I'm doing it with my thumb, obviously. Then you get various different things, and then you can adjust. Here you can go through different screens. If I go to the next
nice
main menu,
flashlight.
Again,
Show
here
that.
we can scroll up and down. Let's just do that. Let's go to there. This is really cool. In the show, obviously, with a little bit of special effects and what should we say, film magic. The screens were animated. There were animations.
Yeah.
They're obviously not real.
Is the audio cutting in and
But
out?
we
for
have
you guys?
changed that slightly so that
I was
this
gonna
is
say, it
a
did
bit
for a
more
second,
real, so that you can
and then it
adjust.
stopped
It doesn't
on my
obviously
end.
measure real radiation. I mean, we'd have liked to have done that, but
Hopefully, we wouldn't have to.
well, no.
Maybe try refreshing.
We thought about it. The radiation Geiger counters that you can get need big tubes in them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
obviously around here you wouldn't really be measuring anything, so there wouldn't be much fun. And if you do hear it ever
yeah,
clicking, then it's really
probably
bad.
Yeah.
That's not what you want, is it really?
Not really.
But here, if you zoom in on it again, I guess, there we go. You can see here I'm adjusting the level of radiation.
Nice.
And
We need to get out of here. Look at that.
Yeah, and you can't hear it because it is, believe me, we're wearing these headphones, it's phenomenally noisy in here, but it's making it a crackling noise that you would expect.
I love how the light on it changes as well. It goes like an orangey red.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
exactly, when it goes over. So, yeah, I mean, well, ask away, I can tell you more about it.
So, was this made? Was this crafted? Was this modeled on a computer and printed out, or how? What was the process to get the bigger shapes?
So actually, thank you. We were very lucky in that we were able to handle the original prop. We took hold of Lucy's Pip-Boy. Actually, there's two different sizes of Pip-Boy. The front part here is exactly the same, but this part, there's a thinner one. I mean, Lucy's got quite thin arms, Ella, and then there's a bigger one. This is the model on the male version, so it's slightly different from that respect. We were Kilter, the film company, were great. They gave us the CAD that they used to make the one in the show. In the show, they're 3D printed, I believe, and then they're polished of various things. We can't do that. We're making many thousands, so very expensive injection molding tooling is made. This front part here is made in zinc, and so that's a die cast tool that's making the metal parts, and then the screen is a kind of glass-like plastic. It's called Tritan, actually. And then the rest of the body's made in a engineering plastic called ABS, and then it's painted and it's polished and it's got this distressing is put into it. So this is a mass-produced product, but it's hand finished. Each one will be painted by hand and then distressed and everything. So everyone will be slightly different.
I asked because seeing it up close, it looks like this was handmade. Like it looks genuine.
Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
It's yeah, I'll tell you what, a little nod to the producers for the next series. We'd like to make the props for the next series.
Oh.
That'd be so cool to have props that were actually screen used.
That
You could
would be
maybe
cool.
auction them off for charity or something like that. But
Well, you say that, but I remember it was in an early episode of the TV show when Lucy walks into a store. I definitely recognised that 76 Pip-Boy in that window.
it was hanging there
was
for about
the-
2 seconds. It was on screen,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and that was the One Company one, right?
Yeah, that's our one. In fact, that's such a cool thing. Working with Bethesda has been just fantastic for us. They're really accepting. I mean, we put forward ideas for things. Sometimes they're within the universe. Should we say? They're in the theme of the universe, but then don't actually appear in the universe. I mean, the Pip-Boy kit was a typical one.
Yeah.
They said you could have the license to make basically a plastic Pip-Boy, like a toy. And I said, we'd never make a toy. We've got to make something special about it. So we made it into the kit. And then the kit went back into the game as a quest.
Yeah, you could. I think it was Wastelanders. You can actually see the red box
That's
and
it.
the tools and all sorts.
It's awesome. I mean, awesome. To work, you know, we design lots of different fusion fleas as if they were real things. One thing I love about the games, and I love about what I do actually in these products, making them, is the crossover between real life and the fantasy.
Yeah.
I love the world building. I mean, 76 with its world building is kind of on the it's still virtual, but it's on the cusp of being real for people. They go in there mentally, like reading a really good story, I guess. But when you actually get to make something that's real, that can cross over out into the real world, people can use it, and then you really are doing that thing. And it's crazy. I noticed at the beginning when I started this job a few years ago that when a Star Trek fan, had a communicator and they went to the front to get William Shatner to sign it, they asked for William Shatner to sign it. They didn't ask for Captain Kirk. But when they held it, they felt like they were Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
So there's this crossover with fans and us all, where we know what's not real and what is real, but
all right,
we want
Carl,
somehow
thanks
to
for hanging
cross
out, man.
over.
I appreciate you.
That's a really interesting
Tell Pam I said hi. I hope she's
perceive
doing
it.
well.
Yeah, I've never really thought of that before.
Yeah, and funny enough though, they want the prop to look exactly like the prop, and at the same time they want it to look like a real piece of kit. Well, a lot of props, we did props for Doctor Who as well, they look not very good when you see them up close. I mean, modern props look much better, but older props, they look pretty ropey. And yet, so if you copied it exactly, it would look pretty ropey, but you've got to try and make it look real and yet exactly like the original. The beauty of this is that this prop was made so beautifully that copying it exactly is easy. I mean, once you've copied it exactly, it still looks great. Oh, it's gone off. Hang on a minute. It's got a setting
Yes,
where
so the battery don't
after
run out, I'm
200
sure.
milliseconds or something, it goes off. You can adjust that setting, obviously.
Is it heavy? You said the front is metal. Oh.
It feels about right.
It feels sturdy.
It is.
It's sturdy?
Sturdy.
Sturdy. I
Sturdy.
understand dirty. I know what's the difference.
It looks dirty.
It is a little dirty.
It does look a bit dirty, but it looks sturdy.
This is cool.
It's supposed to look a little bit dirty.
Absolutely amazing.
It's cool for cosplayers too.
Yeah, the inside here is memory foam, so it's comfortable. We initially started with a round hole, but then we realised that actually a wrist isn't exactly round; it's kind of square, or rectangular. So this is now vaguely rectangular, so it fits a little bit better on the hand, on the arm. Yeah, I mean, getting this distressing right is tricky, but and there's lots of things that you go through when you're making something. How should the dials feel? When they click, how quickly does it change? There you go. So
that's awesome.
And what do the animations look like? How does it fit together? Does it look realistic? And does it feel as it should? When lights come on, do they fade on or do they snap on? And if they snap on, do they fade off? I mean, you must be thinking about this all the time to get that sort of uber real feel.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the feel, the sound.
Yeah, and it's got to be, it's a haptic response. It's got to have this haptic response where you click, the visual connects with the touch, and that really reinforces it. It gives it a real quality. I'll set this up to adjust the clock. I'd love to do it whilst looking at the screen, but I can't. So I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to show you. Right, there we go. So if I go down to here to adjust.
I love that kind of scan line that goes across.
Well, now there's a thing. So so if you look at this here, here's me setting the clock. As I twiddle this, you can just see in how gorgeous the numbers as they move.
So cool.
Yeah, it's all really fine-tuned.
Yeah, I mean, it really... There you go, I've said it for the wrong time now. Bingo. This obviously is military time. So yeah, and the scan line that goes across, now there's the thing. In the original, for the show, these were animations, and the scan lines were put across it, and it had a scan line that went over. What my colleague did, who did the software for it really awesomely, is he separated all the elements out. So now there's a flat element, there's a scan line element for the CRT, and then there's this scan going across it. So any graphics we can put in, we can just overlay those things, and they all look the same as each other.
Nice.
Because, as you know, one of the things is scale. I mean, we were quite surprised to find that in the game, the holotape is a different size depending on where you are. If it's on the table, it's one size. If you pick it up, it's another size. And then when you come to make a prop replica, you can't have that magical look. It's got to be all the same. So often,
that would probably take the price up.
Yeah,
if it could just.
I think so. It'd be very good, actually. If we could do that, we could probably go home.
Does that place have a thing for a holotape in it? I wonder.
That is so cool.
Pretty amazing.
I don't think it does.
I'll put it on.
Put it on him.
Sorry, I will put it on the right way around. That'd be a good thing. Actually, it's very convenient sitting down on a chair to do it. How they did it in the show, I'm not entirely sure, because I think they had magnets. So it's slapped together first, and then they put the latch on.
Yeah.
Because, trust me, if you try to do this on the fly without resting on something, it's very hard with one hand to get it to fit together. But you can see.
That's
great. I mean, it's
really well fitted, yeah.
It's what you expect to see if you're in the show. I mean, you would, there we go. I'll tell you what, you said it's sturdy. Have you ever tried holding your arm out for like half an hour? I've been around. Yesterday it was like I'd been lifting dumbbells all day.
Yes, I have. Not with a Pip-Boy attached to my arm. But
I think when I first saw it, and it had been the first 3D print that we did of it, I was suddenly amazed by how small it was, because I'd been working on the 76 one. It's quite a large thing. And I think I read somewhere, I think maybe he even told me at one of the events I went to, Jonathan Nolan said that they'd had so many discussions about the size, because you just can't walk around all day in a film set with this thing on your arm that's the size of the 76 one. It's great in a game.
November, I think, is when they're supposed to ship
out.
out.
I think this is about the right size.
I didn't get to get one, but...
It's a tiny bit big for a watch.
It is really cool.
I can see people wearing it.
Yeah, you'll get some determined people to make it work.
I would say. Also, that's another thing. Let me take this off. It comes with a really nice stand. The stand is a very simple thing.
Oh, a display stand.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It comes with a lovely display stand. This unplugs, so this is how you charge it. And then this tucks into a stand which slots in here, and it just rests on it, and it's just a flat single piece of aluminium that's bent round. It's really elegant. You can see it. Anyone who wants to can go online and see it, or if you're here, you can go and see it down in the Xbox booth. Or
it's just right down there.
It's right there, yeah.
I was checking it out earlier.
The great thing about that is you could put it on your bedside table, your nightstand at night. It has a dim mode. You can set an alarm. This could be your bedside clock. So it could be a big fat watch. It could be an average sized bedside clock, I guess. Or, of course, this incredible piece of cosplay.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Just going back to
I don't have the money for
the
that.
stand, and I also going back to the 76 one. There was a stand for that, and that appeared in the game as well.
Yeah,
that's what you pull it off at the
maybe
very.
when they come out, if they have extras
I mean,
or whatever, and I can
yes,
get like
you've
on
got
those
time, I might as well tell you.
coupons, I might be
So
able to
when
get
we
one.
did the Pip-Boy kit, I wanted to have something.
How that's gonna work
I wanted to have a
either.
stand for it, because Pip-Boy itself doesn't really rest on anything in any kind
It's
of way.
really cool,
I mean, this
then.
one doesn't either.
I
There's
love it.
Other than putting it down on its face like this, there's really no edge that doesn't have a knob sticking out of it somehow. So we made the stand, and then we started to put the kit together. The stand was going to be part of the kit, I designed the stand completely along the lines of a sort of enclave piece of equipment.
$200.
When it came to it, we couldn't do it because it was too expensive. But we had shared all the stuff with Bethesda, and I was sitting at E3 that time watching the reveal. Thought, hello. That was a thing. I'm sure that was what we did. And then when I talked to the guys, I said, "Oh yeah, we thought we designed it. we had all this geometry which I'd supplied to get it approved. Anyway, we ended up making the stand, and it's a Bluetooth speaker kit. It's quite nice. We don't make them anymore. I think that time is gone, but people loved it, and it's a nice piece of thing.
Yeah.
But yes,
cool.
So I think the stand is important.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say the first product we ever made was a wand, and it didn't have a stand, it had a lovely box, and at the end of the day, people put it in the box and shut the lid. And that was
never see it. Yeah.
And I thought, fans want to put stuff on stands. We talk about display quality, display grade. They want to have it and show it off. And
yeah, you don't want to put it back in a box.
That's right. So, I don't want to interrupt our really cool conversation.
She kills me. I don't know what it is, but she kills me.
We have to end the stream.
That was the end of the stream,
pretty cool to have you both here. Thank you very much, John. And thank you very much, Chris.
All right, guys. So that was really cool. We got to see the cool stuff, which is awesome. So I'm really excited about that. I cannot believe that. I'll probably go back and watch that a couple more times
of
myself.
Course, thank you very much, Rob,
Thank you for having me.
for joining us. And we are at the end of our stream slots. So
all right.
we're having a little break, and after...
There we go. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed that. I know I did. I can't believe all the stuff they told us about the ghoul. It sounds so cool. Anyway, I will see you guys later. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow or not. I'm going to try to. Just got a lot going on. So I'll let you guys know either way. But anyway, I love you guys. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me all morning. I really appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed it. We had some good games that they showed off with Warhammer and that crazy squirrel game, Avowed, and Indiana Jones and all that good stuff. But anyway, guys, take care. And I'll see you guys in the Wasteland. Love you. Bye.